impact is going to come in a little bit quicker. Nisha, who blew his BKB earlier.
Held the Shadow Blade, though.
Yeah.
Get him out of dodge. Not the worst fight for Thunder. They get their Slark involved with that Axe timing, picked up 2 kills. You'll take that.
Dire's middle tower is under
we're seeing how aggressive Puppy's playing, too. He has absolutely no fear.
That is a nice TP deny. They can keep the pressure on this mid tower. In fact, they get it. That little play may have just gotten them the bounty on that mid tower. Sacred takes the last hit. So, big time recovery for this tight ender who's been suffering.
Got him to his Wraith Pack. Showing some signs of life here for Thunder. A little momentum swing.
Will it be enough, though? The Wraith Pack will stop a lot of the damage, but Secret still up by 5k. They're an item or 2 ahead. And also, what can Bakaz do with this Aghanim Scepter? We saw in that first fight, used it pretty decently to kill the 2 supports.
You want Silencer every time.
Yeah.
Take Silence out of the fight, it opens it up a lot for Zeus and Nyx.
Sacred and Nisha having a little fun here. Both of them actually baiting a smoke behind the individual cores standing in front.
Oh, they're fighting Puppy on the back.
Puppy, this would be so good. The smoke's gonna break. He throws out the curse. He gets a force dash to the high ground. The second pounce doesn't land. The Ravage doesn't land either. And now he gets off the global. He's getting all the spells off with the quick turnaround on it because it all falls apart for Thunder off of some nice quick moves from Puppy. He pulled out all the stops on that one.
Put on his dancing shoes today. Just super fast force staff reaction. That Ravage clips absolutely nothing with the BKB reveal on the Shrek. And fight's pretty much over at that point. Bakaz was too invested in 2 silence. Very nice read by Secret. Puppy felt that one coming. But they had a great angle.
Yeah, they really did. With the rest of them on the high ground, BKBs all going off during the Ravage. And even the global. It's a nice finishing touch there on the end. Just beautifully played by Team Secret as a whole.
That's almost where you want the Nyx leading, so you can guarantee that kill.
Yeah.
Instead of the pounce, but maybe just not expecting that force staff to be up yet. It's also hard to just run in with Nyx's game. Now, there's a single sentry, you're getting global. Nothing can come out from the rest of his team to bail him in those scenarios.
Yul's Scepter, Aether Lens. Mago is trying to keep up as the Zeus. I mean, he was once the highest net worth in this game. You see he's had a little bit of a precipitous fall. He just can't keep up. Not with the amount of real estate that Team Secret has been owning throughout the last 10 minutes.
They're coming around the map.
Make a move towards top. They had a pretty nice defensive ward there on the side of Thunder.
All right, Matthew kills Kristalis Courier with full BKB.
Ooh, that's a nice pickup.
A lot of net worth. Pretty much the best thing he could hope for in that scenario.
Is that enough for you to make the call, like, guys, we should smoke? I just took away the BKB, or do you think it's still risky?
I don't think you can smoke into Secret here. Maybe Secret goes into you and you can take the fight.
Maybe just leave Pandamu behind.
That's Roshan.
That is
number 2.
Second Roche. This is where things start getting really scary for an Ursa lineup in Aegis. Now the Shard.
I feel so bad for this mate, man. So much intelligence, so much.
Yeah, he's really not progressing there, is he?
Racking up the end, and that is sharp for Ursa. This is the dream Ursa progression. Do the first Roche pretty early. They got it with the smoke and Marcy. Second Roche, 24 minutes, put that shard online. Yeah, you're missing BKB, but I don't think he cares too much.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Not with the constant enrages. Already having a hard time addressing him.
Time for me.
Full Silver Edge done for Nisha as well. There's a break for this Tide. Even harder to frontline. I mean, I don't think he was frontlining much before, but now he definitely isn't.
Do you think he should continue to build on that and try and build up physical damage builds, or do you like what he's currently going, the Scythe build up?
I think the Scythe is fine here. I mean, this Team Secret lineup is not lacking.
Yeah, sure.
Remember, Kristalis wants this diffusal damage-oriented build. You will have BK Basher at some point. You have a carryless Shrek in your offlane who's doing just fine, and of course, Marcy. You know,
Marcy's Marcy.
Yeah, Marcy's Marcy. Enough said, you know. They're not going to lack damage, so each can just go whatever he wants, honestly. Go the AC, you can go the Hex here. The Hex is definitely nice for the Slark control. Or if you find the Zeus, right, you stop some of these leaps or
Dire's middle
duels,
tower
just
is under
guarantee
attack.
the highest damage kill.
Matthew, I mean, this is a sad affair when you're using the Vendetta to try and, hunt down
Dire's
couriers.
bottom tower
I mean, he's
is
certainly
under
not
attack.
strong enough, I think, to get a solo kill unless it's on Silencer with the Thunder God's Wrath. But even then, I have to question if they have enough damage. Panamu, well, he's been just kind of playing forward a lot. I don't think he really cares too much about his own life. It feels like he's just kind of fishing for information, right? They got to just buy time more than anything.
Dodge, split the lanes. You're gonna lose out on some net worth, but try and make Secret run around.
Sacred getting spotted.
Someone has to pay the price here.
Yeah, and it's going to be the Tide Hunter. So that Heaven's Halberd, which he was trying to get to address the Ursa problem that he has, it'll be delayed even further. Because did manage to get out, and he is closing in on a BKB. But it is a very small silver lining, a very big and dark, scary cloud.
You know, Matthew, he's looking for that Ursa courier. That's why he's not killing these.
Hey, he's trying to go to the...
He
Yeah.
wants the BKB again, but he missed it. That was the one courier that went out the fastest. So Crystals already has BKB, and Matthew's kind of... I know it's coming. He read the timer very well. Actually, a very intelligent play. Just not going to get it.
Damn, that is
And now he sees it run back. He's like, oh.
Well, they know the BKB is now complete, and same goes for Pekaz.
In fact, they even put a gem on this Ursa. Puppy deciding to be generous this game and donate some of his net worth to ensure this Nyx has no free initiations.
The Blink Dagger as well. So BKB, Blink, Ursa, you're 100% online, and you're trying to take 80 fights that you can get. Thunder are being rather elusive, though. They're doing a decent job of not being caught on their, well, I was going to say their cores, but mostly just because Dark Mago. He really wants the Aghanim Scepter. He's trying to farm it up with a Zeus right now, but he's got to be careful, got to respect it.
Dire's courier has been killed.
That's a BKB, another one BKB denied.
A decent pickup. You waited a long time for it. So you're going to have to use it here. Of course, Aegis is still up for a minute. You're going to have a window where they don't have that. Aegis is down. You have your Slark BKB. Maybe you can get to this Zeus Ag.
Regeneration.
That's pretty much all we're looking at in terms of the next timings here for Thunder. All right, you're going to have a Halberd on the Tide, but at some point you're going to have to win a fight here because you are losing a lot of net worth in the period where you're just letting all three Secret Cores have free reign.
Heaven's Halberd complete. I don't know if it'll ever save Sacred, but it might stall his death a few extra seconds. You spot him. Nice torrent. Good read from Nisha. They're going to go for the break as well to ensure that this Tide Hunter doesn't have a single prayer getting out of this one. The tier 2 is going to be run down pretty quickly. Secret, bit by bit, taking more and more control of the map, increasing the pressure on this chokehold over Thunder Awaken.
Nice little play from Nisha there. Just taking the guess, you know, you never know. Someone might be lurking and get a free Tide kill. Every little thing matters. And of course, Matthew's still hunting for some courier. Which one's he going to choose here?
God, I bet he wish he was playing a bounty hunter instead.
He doesn't want that one.
No.
He missed the last one.
No good items. Oh, no. Would have been a decent pickup.
It's taking me back to Boston Major.
Yeah, seriously.
The bounty hunter courier snipe.
Maybe next time just hanging out on the enemy side of the map, constantly looking for courier kills. Vendetta is not the best. He's definitely not the best invis hero to be making these plays. But there's just not much else to do, right? Thunder just cannot fight. They understand that, and they're really just waiting for Secret to either force something by going high ground, or they get to a point where, I mean, what point is that exactly? What items do they need where they're like, all right, guys, we can win a team fight? I'm not convinced there is an item.
Refresher shard from Roche for Tide.
Okay, yeah.
It's going to have to be some base defense fight where Secret overextends.
Yeah,
I don't think you can fight outside the base anymore. These heroes are just too tanky. And Secret's not going to give you any freebies.
No, they're not. They're a very disciplined team.
That's the first Thunder God I've heard in a while.
Yeah, he just was fishing for information. Hadn't seen any heroes from Team Secret in a while, so wanted to make sure he wasn't getting ganked top lane.
Finish up his Ags, which he will. So now you have a bit more global pickoff potential. We can kind of see where this lineup was supposed to be at this point, you know, where Nyx and Zeus could have threatened heroes along the way.
Yep.
I'm not sure you're threatening too much outside of some more couriers you're scouting. Let me tell you something. This courier hunting looks a lot more fun than it actually is. Is he going to take one?
Yeah, the losing game probably doesn't feel so hot. All right, got the Ursa courier. Hey, there we go.
And you know what his reward is? He is level 10. He is level 10 at 30 minutes because he has not seen a creep in a very long time.
Yeah, who needs levels in mana burn?
It's true.
Science is done with this. He's like, all right. Enough of this Nyx assassin nonsense. Find some Rezo pairs up with them. They don't actually get him. He was too close to the Leshrac for the rebound to land, I think. So
Space. I mean, honestly, even if he dies, he's so low level. It doesn't matter. He goes back in 30 seconds.
I like how he set up this series, you know, Thunder Awaken, you know, the number one in average kills and assists.
Not this
team in I mean, it counts if you're talking couriers.
2 masks on this brigand team.
I mean, all that said, somehow, because of his top net worth,
Scanning.
it always happens.
And finds it. He knows
Found
where the gold
bar.
is.
And he's got Titan Sliver, he's got Skullbasher, level 20.
First
He's the best
excursion
window they
outside of the
have.
base for a while. Thunder. Smoked up, spot Rezo. Puppy's gonna break the smoke though. They're immediately gonna jump onto him. But the force step gets him away. And Marcy, wow, there goes the next assassin. Blown up immediately by the help of Nisha. Sacred in the middle of all this. He has to wait out the BKBs in order to get a good Ravage off here. They're gonna reset. Secret doing the same, respecting the fact that with the BKBs on cooldown, there could be a big Ravage play, especially with the buyback coming in from Matthew.
Awkward initiation, but that's it. Thunder don't lose too much, and they know there's no BKB. This is one of those windows where they can try and make a play.
Yeah, but how do they do that exactly? I'm not sure if they have any smokes. They don't have a blink on Tidehunter to like really force a good team fight with blink Ravage. It's kind of weird. I almost feel like they're gonna go back to farming.
I feel like they need this blink because Picard can't just jump this silencer and make it a good fight. Yeah, it's just a 4-step out, and then you're getting global after the dark pack, so it's very awkward in terms of initiation right now for Thunder.
I was gonna ask if maybe Nyx can get a blink tag. I remembered.
Yeah, he
hasn't been doing much.
Well, that's his buyback, and
This cannot go on. This cannot go on. They can't be giving up Roshan while BKBs are cooldown and Ravage is up. Oh no, Thunder. What have you done? They had to play for this Roshan. I feel like this was one of the only moves they had. Now they've given up an Aghanim Scepter to the Ursa, so now even if they hit a good Ravage, Rosales could just knock it off anytime.
he doesn't care about anything anymore. Takes the cheese, takes the axe. He just onto Rezo. The bear feels so strong, he doesn't need the second life.
This is truly going to be just an all-in high ground defense, I think, at this point for Thunder. And Secret are probably at the point they're feeling strong enough, right? Third Roshan, a fresh Aegis, we've got a cheese. Like, they are so far ahead in net worth at this point in time that, I mean, they would love to get a pick off first. Panamu escapes just barely. Matthew may be able to do the same here. If Secret can't find anybody in the next 2 or 3 minutes, feels like they may just brute force it.
Like, they really want to find the pickoff. Just forcing the high ground for these uses. Sure, you're up a lot of goals, but it can be weird, especially with buyback.
Can we get something here? Ooh, nice reaction from Bakaz. Gets the pounce away before the X could catch him.
More courier hunting.
Radiant's top tower is
Here it
under
comes.
Ursa's
Matthew.
Hey! He'll get the observer for it too, so it makes his life a bit easier.
Yeah. Another 45 seconds. Well, actually 60 seconds for him to really get out there and wait for a while. We'll see another courier pick off, perhaps.
Also doing a little poking. Pretty low on mana.
Yeah.
First, second light.
Got the Aegis. They're going to burn it. Now,
Radiant's
plenty of secret heroes are around, so it's not like Thunder can really keep going here. Panda, hello. Thundergod's Wrath going out, spotting all 5 of these heroes because maybe he can jump with the silencer. He's going to go for it here, but once again, the force staff is going to go down. Nisha lays out the boat. Sacred trying to position here. Pops a Ghost Scepter, waiting out the BKBs, and gets back up to the high ground. Nice play by him. Crystal's trying to chase after, but now he's inside the base. Now they have an opportunity for a Ravage, perhaps, but Sacred continuing to hold very patient there. I love the way he played forward and then used that Ogre Club totem to be able to jump back inside the base. He knows this Ravage cannot be used lightly.
No, you have to threaten it, and at the same time, you have to be super patient, try and wait out those BKBs, and then turn.
Double
The
damage.
longer you wait, the higher chance of Kaz maybe dies in that duration. If he goes down, you lose a huge amount of your sustained damage. Of course, you can rely on Zeus in these high ground scenarios, but Secret might not do that too all the time.
Don't get me wrong, Secret, they are smashing this, and the status quo has not changed, but it is impressive that Thunder just haven't straight up lost yet. They like the way to play these fights has to be so perfect. They've been doing a great job of it so far.
They have Blink on high now.
Now they've got a real possibility, right?
Yeah, they can Blink Ravage into the Nimbus. Nyx can follow up. Maybe Marcy saves you, maybe the global bails you out. That is that window. And of course, they have multiple Ghost Scepters as well. No real nullifiers or anything from the Secret side, so these Ghost Scepters are doing a decent amount of work.
Yeah, Ziantar's already made that read. He's going to try and build a nullifier. It may be a little while for this fourth position to get it, but he is at least aware how strong this item could be.
You know, when your 4 positions building nullifier, you feel pretty damn good.
Yeah. He's going
Radiant's top tower is
to,
under
he's going to
attack.
jump onto that Zeus and never let go.
I mean, at this point, Secret's gonna have 5 carries, right?
Yeah.
You should build some attack speed on Silencer. He's got the hint to do it.
Yeah, he's got 32 stolen intelligence.
Waiting for the runes. Waiting for next Roche, perhaps. I don't think Secret's in a rush here.
Yeah.
Maybe the courier. I think so.
They're trying to speed boost out of that tier 3, tier 2 area as quick as possible.
I mean, I'll tell you, they are microing these things.
Yeah.
There's a refresher flying out for Nisha. So you're gonna have double BKB, double Hex. Could catch these heroes off guard. Havoc Hammer as well. Just even extra takings.
Smoke might actually catch Thunder. Thunder was being very patient, just sitting inside their base, but they're poking out now. Team Secret. They get this opening. Now, Sacred's going to be the first one spotted here. The Tidehunter, the big front line. He's going to break this smoke, get a lot of information for Thunder. They can choose whether to engage or not. I assume the answer is probably a no, as it's been for the last 20 minutes or so.
I can't believe Puppy just walks into these areas like this. You know?
Yeah, yes.
Just walking in, gets a Nimbus. Like, whatever.
I mean, he really hasn't been punished for it yet. Like, so many times he's been pounced on, yes, but they haven't been chased on. Once again, he's got the force staff to go for it. Because he's going to keep going here. This is pretty crazy. He immediately jump in there. Sacred's going to have to wait out this BKB. Once again, the situation with Kaz playing it slow, taking the damage. They've got the Ravage thrown out now. Crystals does manage to get off the end range. They do have, he gets his ultimate, and also the shard being thrown down. But Kaz has got to be able to jump away, though. The daily damage of the last rank. He managed to get it right in front of Crystallis, but the Hex landed as well. Gets up to the high ground, gets that speed boost, starts regenerating away. Resolution, though, trying to catch. Nice Yule Scepter, barely in time to stop the split earth. Zayat's jumping in after him into the base, but Dark Mago's already away. The 2 supports die on the side of Thunder, but the core's not dying. We'll keep this game stalled out, I believe.
It is still going. They were close to killing that Ursa. If that Ravage comes out before the cheese pop. Oh, yeah, for sure. Shall looking for more here.
Tier 4s are up. Next Roshan is coming in soon. 2 minutes to be exact.
Gotta abuse that Slark night vision as well. These are best entry to fight each other. They're never gonna have a really good war outside of the Slark mission. You can plan them off later.
Yeah.
That's why Puppy is so confident. Because they just know they have no vision. They've had that gem forever. Starting to poke this tide. No Ravage for 60.
Just throwing himself in there. ZZ gets out. The splitter doesn't land. We're good. Because, oh yeah, he needs a force staff out of here. He's in a little bit of danger. Because gets on top of him. And they do have Sacred to follow up as well. Because realizes as soon as the last rank shows, he's got to get out of here. The Ogre Club doesn't get Sacred quite far enough. He's going to be chased down with the magic damage and resolution on the side. Science is going to be able to finish off Dark Mago as well. Because turns around, does the damage onto the last track. He needs to be able to keep his back up against the wall. Make sure nobody gets in front of him. If anybody stops his pounce, he's dead. He now has to blow the BKB. He jumps over to buybacks and still haven't gotten a kill out of it.
Absolutely nothing going Thunder away his way in this fight, and Crystallus smells the blood.
Yeah, that's going to be another death for Panda Moo. And a chance to break the high ground. Looks like it's Secret. Finally going to crack it open.
Cliff will come out there, low resources, but doesn't seem like any of them are close to dying. Puppey is still eluding this Slark.
Yeah, Force Staff and a Ghost Scepter. The rest of his team being so mobile, they can come save him anytime.
And Pakaz really needed that Abyssal, and he might never get to it at this point. The repeat Glyph here. BKB is up for Nisha now.
The Nyx is in the trees here from the side. They try and get a sneaky impale. Ravage going down. The pretty decent one, but they can't really focus any one hero down. They don't have the damage now without the Zeus. And now with the Slark Hex stuff, it's a chain stun combo that will ensure his death. Dead for 85 seconds. No buyback, and Sacred falling as well. Also no buyback. This is looking like it's over. That's it. GG Secret. Absolutely no mercy whatsoever. Fully disciplined, controlled the game from the get-go, and make a clean 2-0 victory over Thunder Awakened.
What a clinical series. I mean, that first game was just so disciplined by them, and this second one didn't feel like Thunder even got one good team fight out of that whole game. Just ratting and ratting, trying to get to a point where the Slark can come online, and by then, all of Secret's 5 carries are online. I mean, at that point, you're not killing anything. Puppey just so elusive with Force Staff Glimmer. That's a top 3 for the second year in a row. Puppey has got to feel good about continuing to play at the 11 TI.
Yeah, he's now got one more series to go to be able to beat last year and put himself in that potential top 2 scenario. Man, what a run this man has had. What a run the Team Secret has had. So, I mean, remember, these guys, we almost didn't see them at TI, period. They had to go through the last chance qualifier, which they smashed, and are now showing up in playoffs, looking in very fine form. Thunder, they in turn could go down to lower bracket, but I'm sure this is going to be an experience they certainly learn from. I mean, do you feel like this series was more about play, or was it about the draft for you?
I feel draft did play a large part. I think Secret was very comfortable in both these games. They got everything they wanted. This last draft especially, I felt like they could have picked anything last there. Like, they could have flexed this Marcy to multiple positions. They could have even thrown Kunkka somewhere. Rezo gets his off-laner of choice versus whatever Pakaz has. Yeah, that's a rough situation to be in. I mean, Puppey and Heen have just done a great job this tournament. It feels like every series this team played, which has been a lot to get here.
Yep.
They get better. Their drafts get more consistent. The gameplay gets tighter. At this point, if these guys aren't the favorite to maybe take it all, I don't know who is.
Yeah, absolutely. They just seem fully prepared. They seem to deeply understand the meta at this point. Yeah. And that's what happens when you play some of the most games of anybody at this tournament. Yeah. And anybody in any tournament ever. That's Puppey. Let's go ahead and check in with the panel. Team Secret taking a 2-0 over Thunder.
Thank you, Cap and SVG. Yes, congratulations to Team Secret punching their way into the upper bracket finals and equaling that of last year. They are guaranteed a top 3. To talk about the match, we're of course joined by Sheep, Lizard, and T-Governor. There were some moments. It's okay, but I mean, like, you know, we should highlight it.
Let's just talk about it. Let's just get it out of the way.
It's the elephant in the room.
The Tide Hunter in the room.
It was, yeah. But but like, you know, you're on the stage. It's a lot of pressure, and you know, I think as SVG said, it's like you know, sometimes you kind of need that. You know, you don't always have your best performances, but you've still got a chance in lower brackets. So hopefully, you know, moving forward. But unfortunately, yeah, the Tide on Sacred wasn't really you know, hitting the mark. But also, I do think that as SVG mentioned, the draft as well was really good and really enabled Rezo on the offlane with the Marcy.
Yeah, I mean, before we get into the Tide Hunter, I want to preface this with Sacred is a new pro player. He started playing professionally on teams in like 2019. To the scene, he is very inexperienced. So this sort of performance, yes, we can criticize it, but he is obviously like playing at this TI, feeling the pressure. I can see how this
Which was great.
Yeah, that one was fantastic. But yeah, this was pretty unacceptable. You know, it's like you're wasting your Ravages when you're getting gone on and you're trying to go alone, you're TPing late to engagements. I think communications-wise, they clearly weren't including him in a game plan. Like, they weren't working around their Ravages.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been a very long time ago a pro gamer, and sometimes when you're on the stage and you really take like so much responsibility on yourself, and you try and do too much, and you know, and sometimes that's the mistake, is caring too much, trying to do too much, when really you just have to play your normal game. But still, focusing on Team Secret, Thunder Awaken will be playing in the lower bracket, but Team Secret, T-Gov.
Yeah, and it's that off-lane duo, right, between the Zayats and Resolution. You saw the stats at the very end there. It was 16-1-15 on Resolution, a 10-4-26 on Zayats. Like, you go into the lane together, you're pressuring this slot. We just mentioned the Tidehunter. For Thunder Awaken, they're used to having cores come out of laning phase with a lead to play together. When they don't have that, it's like mode recovery. And that felt like the entire game, because Secret just demolished them within the draft, and in the early play, it was just an exceptional game.
Then again, on the offlane, Thunder Awaken did have a decent start. Like, they did pressure the Ursa, even though he's kind of considered strong versus melee heroes. If there's a good dual lane against him, you can pressure him. They killed him a couple of times there between the Crystal Maiden and the Tidehunter. However, one thing that Secret does really well is they usually listen to Puppy. And when Puppy tells you to stick together, you goddamn stick together.
You hold hands.
You hold hands, you hug each other. Exactly. And that's what they were doing.
And they did it, and they all got clapped along.
What can you do?
Yeah, clapped along, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're playing versus Slark, by the way. That's the point.
Yeah, stay together.
Just lead to all the
Moral
Secret
of the
scraps,
story.
actually. That was we shouldn't have done that. Poor
So
Secret.
they're holding hands.
They can't win TI anymore.
They did mention that the commentary booth, Cap and SVG, is like, you know, if they're not the favourites, you know, who is? I mean, obviously we've got another upper bracket game, but this was, you know, Thunder Awaken, sure, they've dropped down, but they were in the upper bracket semi-finals. They are a phenomenal team, so I'm sure we're going to see a lot more from them in the lower bracket. But, you know, from looking at all the games you've seen over the main stage, do you feel that Secret have a little bit of an edge over?
They definitely have the momentum. Like, history repeats itself. Sometimes it rhymes, sometimes it repeats itself. And I've seen this thing before with a team that went through the open qualifiers, went all the way, played the most games to, in the end, take the tournament. However, I don't know, still Puppy, he's, you know, this TI, he should end second, right? According to Kikaku.
Exactly, due to the stats, but oh god, it's also Tundra. If they beat Aster, Tundra has always been dominant in the EU and beaten Secret quite easily throughout all the years, or the season, sorry. So I think if you're Puppy, you're kind of praying to face Aster, to face China to get to the grand finals, because you don't want to go up against the EU teams, because they know Secret best.
And just to kind of recap a little bit game, because hopefully we will be waiting on a winner's interview. But in the mid lane, it was, you know, Dark Mango that on his Zeus, he really didn't get it. I know, I wrote that down. The funny thing is, I am so dyslexic that the fact that I have to write down the players' names and then say them, it's like there's 2 points.
It's Icerock's favorite. It's fine.
I can mess up. But looking at the brackets, that's what just happened. They punched their way into the upper bracket.
I really hope Dark Mango comes back.
He needs to rebrand.
Yeah.
He definitely needs to
I thought he was
rebrand.
making a new neutralite or something.
Dark Mango, if you pick it up, you lose, man.
You start losing mana. You have to force feed it to your opponent. You get it down there.
Bring back the Dark Mango tree neutral.
I'm so ready to get off this panel, and luckily I will be able to have a little break because we're going to go to a winner's interview with Casey.
We're here with Resolution, and you came out, and I said, how are you doing? And you said,
amazing, I'm doing wonderful. What is the question? We just won the game, you know?
it's a stupid question. It's hard not to ask
No,
it.
I don't like that question before the game. You're like, how do you feel about this game? Like, of course I'm feeling it. Like, I'm playing the game, I'm going, you know?
Or
Like,
if you lose, how are you feeling? I feel like shit. Thanks for asking.
yeah, like,
That's right.
no, there's no way we're gonna win this one. Like, what are they expecting me to say there, right?
I have a very vivid memory of interviewing you back at TI7 when you had just jumped onto Team Empire to play at the last second.
It was fun.
Yeah, but you played so well. You unexpectedly placed top 8, and here you are. You just joined the team in August, joining Team Secret, and here you are just like completely destroying TI.
Here I am.
How are you doing it? How are you able to join teams and just immediately find cohesion for everyone?
I mean, I think this team is like, it's very special to me because like we have a really good chemistry like from the start. As soon as I joined, we finished top 3 on the Riyadh tournament, and like I also have a friend here, Zayat, which I enjoy really playing, talking to him like outside and inside the game, and it makes so much easier for us to communicate our problems inside, like for example for laning, right? And it's just I don't know, it's just amazing feeling that it all clicks together right away for us.
Well, you can tell it's super fun to watch. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I'm super excited to to be here, finishing already like at least top 3 at this event. It's just to live in the dream, because like half a year ago I thought I was done with Dota, and I'm not gonna come back anymore. But here I am.
Yeah.
It's just like life works in miraculous ways, and you just gotta sometimes go with the flow.
You're never done with Dota. Got that?
I mean,
Never.
We'll see.
It's just one of those
At
things.
this point, right now, I don't enjoy anything else in the world better than playing the game. So I'm gonna be here for quite a while, quite a while.
Thank God. Well, there you have it. Thank you again so much. We'll send it back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Casey. And congratulations, Rezo and the rest of the team. And really nice to hear from them. Just, how it's all clicking, and it needs to click if you're going to go into the upper bracket, and that is so far the story of Team Secret. But we got more stories here for you now, because we're ready for the next match. Team Aster to the stage, a Chinese team, and as I nervously read out their names in front of my panelists, Monet, Ori, XSS, Boboka, and Pichu. Is it Boboka, please? Boboka. Boboka, of course it's Boboka. We love Boboka. Let's introduce Tundra Esports. Esports here, going into the upper bracket semi-finals. Skitter, 9, 33, Sashka, and please. He loves being called Sashka. I've known him for a long time. I knew Pycat. We used to hang out all the time. We've been on holidays together. I can guarantee.
As someone who has butchered his name for nearly 2 years, I can wholeheartedly confirm that we should not say
I'm
his
so
name.
sorry. My inability to host, should not take away from the importance of this game. So that's.
I also want to use this platform to say Saxa. I did it.
Saska.
You're doing what I did for 2 years, all right, but I finally come over my inner demon. Because I have a slur, right? And when I see the S's, I get like self-conscious.
No slurs allowed on this board.
All right.
Okay, I'm done. I'm right.
Lizard, take over. What have we got?
I'm kind of cheating. I'm Slav like he is, so Saksa. But we've got these two teams in the upper bracket. I'm looking forward. On one side, you have this powerhouse from the Chinese region, a stable powerhouse, a little bit of flair coming from the position 4 and offlane. But when it comes to Tundra, I didn't expect them coming into the TI. I knew they were strong. I didn't expect them to be this strong. I didn't expect them to have this much flair and fun playing the game. And they're playing Miranas, Lunas on position 5. If there even is a position 5 anymore. Is there a position 5?
Kinda. I mean, as long as you can get out of lanes, then sure, anything can go. And I think at least Tundra, they've still not moved too far away from their identity during the DPC. When you think about 33, he's still playing his Beastmaster, the Visage. He's now got Brood back in the mix. Like anytime that hero is popular, 33 is going to be playing it. And they just have a really good foundation to allow their star players to just pick whatever they want.
Yeah, 33, I remember him way back when we were all starting to play in these lower cups in EU, like enjoy Dota ISO cups and whatnot. Like everyone knew he was going to eventually get to this stage. It was just a matter of time.
I actually fully believe in Tundra as a team, just because of reading throughout the year. Skitter, he does 100 million interviews. This guy loves talking about the team, and the biggest unified opinion of all of them is that they work harder than anyone else. They are very strict on that. They're like, we play more pubs, we don't stop, we take minimal breaks, we boot camp for entire DPC multiple seasons. Like, they are constantly talking about the game, thinking about the game, and really that passion, I wanted it to pay off, and it's like, what went wrong? Well, you hear like Owie talk about it, he says it was the mental game. Like at Arlington, they said they didn't perform. The biggest step for them pre-TI was to find out what helps them not burn out and to help them perform.
Was that the psychologist they got? I believe it is. They got someone to talk to, and something that OG did a few years back, and obviously did work for Tundra, helping them go through those early game jitters and whatnot. But the experience that you're talking about, like same as Zayat says, Rezo on Secret, they've got players that go way back. Like Nine and Skitter, I think I played against them. That's ages ago. That's when they were still in Pent.
I would say, yeah.
So there's definitely a lot of synergy coming from those two.
It also helps for Tundra at least. They are they have the smallest hero pool, or second smallest hero pool at TI. So they've made sure they're coming into this tournament. They know the heroes that they want to play.
But it's a nasty
exactly.
hero
Like unlike other teams with small hero pools, that's because they're too scared to like evolve. But Tundra, they've come into the tournament and go, we've done the hard work. We know what heroes we want to play, and we're going to like outmaneuver you, outcalculate our laning phase. They're going to do all the small things to just find their advantage. So you shouldn't be, put into some weird position like, they don't play many heroes. It's not because they are experts in the hero pool that they have.
And it's also really nice being a core player with someone like 33 on your team, because he draws so much of the bans in a draft. You have to think about all these cheese that he plays, and that brings you so much freedom as a carry player because your offlaner is tanking all the bans, and he's still versatile. He's got other stuff in his wheelhouse.
There are two offlaners, and XXS on the other side, he's been the MVP of the Chinese region, and he also brings nasty heroes.
All right, well, and it looks like we're getting ready to go into the draft for game number 1 here in our second upper bracket finals. Semi-finals. Nailed it.
Team Master versus Tundra Esports. Game 1.
We're back in the panel. You guys have made me all giddy today. I've lost the will to... I was never a good host, let's be honest.
Come on, don't do yourself like
T.
Hello. What's up?
Bring us back in. Okay, so they have met before, these two teams, in the group stages. Actually, all our upper bracket semi-finals have been from Group B. And Asta did play against 100 Esports, and they went 1-1. Asta, obviously, to get here, beat out Liquid 2-0, and 100 Esports beat out OG. And now we're going to see the first bands. Panel, take it away.
Something similar once again. 1-1 was in the first in the first games in the group stage. Primal Beast and Broodmother was banned out, I believe, against Tundra. This time around, they're banning out the Primal Beast and the Leshrac instead as Nyx Assassin. I have a feeling there is this connection between the Nyx and Lesh, right?
Yeah, pretty
at the moment.
And also, Primal Beast has become this year's IO for TI. Normally, it's IO that kind of comes back in, but no, Primal Beast is if you're not first pick, you have to. Just ban it away.
After seeing what Ace did this morning with the Primal Beast, I'm pretty sure we will not see that hero go through.
That was a dumb game. But Tundra's one of the most exciting heroes, teams, for me to watch because they draft in such a fun way. Like 9 on mid lane is... You just don't know what he's going to bust out. I think this Tusk has been one of the most exciting mid heroes to watch. Like, it was something that people are starting to get a little bit more used to it because it's being pulled out so much.
Yeah, he loves abusing, right? Like, he brought Kotl to your pubs. So if you need a culprit to blame, guys, it's that guy. It's 9. If you need a culprit for Grimstroke on the mid lane, it's also 9. So Tusk apparently as well, and the Spirit Breaker. So yeah.
And he's adapting to heroes in this tournament, like the Morphling. They were the ones playing Owl Devourer throughout the group stages and saying, this is our answer to this hero. Everyone thought this hero was dead, and they're bringing it back, having success with it, and making it look good. I really love the diversity that they have, and it's good to see teams trying to figure out answers to different stuff.
Yeah, so far they didn't really draft anything that different, right, T?
Not really at all. And I think the cool thing as well that we haven't mentioned, for example, for Asta at least, Monet, carrying so far, he's the only player at this TI to have less than 2 deaths on average per game. Like everyone else, it's like 3, 4, up to 9.
He doesn't like feeding.
He doesn't like feeding, and Monet just had consistency, I guess. He's finding his way into all games without putting himself in these positions where it's potentially throwing away these leads, and has allowed Asta to get to this upper bracket position.
Fans in the Chinese region definitely dig deep, rip deep when you feed. So you kind of get bullied a little bit, and you don't really want to be feeding. You want those heroes that are easy to escape with.
It's actually kind of crazy that he has such a low death average when Aster is a team that love playing aggressive fighting lineups. At ESL 1 Malaysia, they had the highest kill average of all teams. Like, they loved grouping up as 5 and just going with heroes that could kill. So, like, not feeding during that is very impressive.
Yeah. He's also really good at falling back into the jungle when necessary, right? Like, most carries, you can see them fall to that first 8 to 10 minute mark rotation towards the top tier 1. Most of the time, Monet is already back at the hard camp next to the tier 2. He already cleared his jungle, so it's something that he can sense the gank coming his way. Crystal Maiden and Marcy so far. Do you think that Marcy is versatile on the side of Aster, or is it a 4? Because I believe it should be Voka playing that Marcy.
Yeah, they don't really have the offlane and mid and core flexibility on this Marcy, so when they lock it in, it does just feel like a support duo opening here of Marcy being the 4, CM the 5. Unlike Tundra, where this Mirana, it's their 4, it's their 5. The Doom, they played it 4 during DPC. It could easily just be that offlane dead through Doom. We're just going to get super fat. Like, this was a very classic offlane duo because Doom, once you get a couple levels and you start getting to get the phase boots, you're quite independent. The Mirana then suddenly, I don't have to help
If it's even a 4 Mirana, right?
Yeah,
it could be a 5.
Yeah, exactly.
Making just rotating around with
Snaking,
it.
ruining pumps by playing Mirana 5.
Yeah. You know, when you have to play 5 and you just pick a hero like Mirana, you're not really a 5. It's how it is, and you can see.
Pops are safe. Okay, let's pick a 5.
Hold on.
No, it's just the bands.
Yeah,
Brood,
I want
Visage.
to talk about them as well
Go for
because
it.
XSS, he is a offlaner that really in the lane for an extended amount of time. You see some other offlaners, maybe like FPZ or something, they will run and make plays and rotate, and XSS loves to stay in his lane. And heroes like Enigma, Brood, Visage, these are literally like the top 3 I would list in terms of like what he likes to play and what needs that play style. So I really love these focused bands, and I also really love the Lich pickup because Aster, I was going to say, is one of the few teams who I feel like really solved their response to Marcy with the Sven and the Lich heroes. And I do think they're really effective. This Frost Shield nullifies so much of Marcy's damage, both in lane and later when she has her ult. So it's one of my favorites, and I'm really happy to see Tundra take it.
Also very helpful versus heroes such as SF if they ever come through again, right? Like you have that armor to mitigate his presence. They go with the Mars and the Razor. Razor actually popped up just before Arlington Major as a Chinese pick. Like they were picking it quite a lot in the DPC seasons. First on the offlane, then rotated him all the way to the safe lane to play with that casual, what was it, BKB refresher. However, it did fall out of favor. It got nerfed a couple of times. First the refresher nerf so that you can't static link the same target.
And also the mana, but I think for Aster at least, they're looking at Tundra with the quirkiness of going back from Mirana, and they've just made sure that they have really strong lanes. Because Mirana's decent when you get to play for kills, where you get like a stun into another stun, but when they've already shown the Doom, it's like, okay, if we just pick strong lanes that have a lot of kill threat, if this Mirana wants to leave the Doom at any point, if it is, or I mean, it is a position for Mirana to mid, now there's going to be like a CM plus Razor potential in lane, Doom can't really play there. So the lanes from us are going to be really strong.
Do you not think it will be Marcy with Razor?
Sure,
these look like these look like the 2 side lanes so far for me. And whilst CM will be the +5, we've seen so much in recent times of this patch. The supports will just swap lanes depending on what's needed. The Razor Marcy was one of the biggest combos back when Razor was being picked every game because G were doing it and everyone else was doing it. Because you get not only the move speed while stag linking, but you also get lifesteal from sidekicks.
Are you inviting a morphling here maybe or not? They go with the CK.
It's the Skitter CK.
Okay.
We love comfort.
Good old comfort. Ever since he was, if I imagine Skitter and his heroes, it's CK and Slark, like from back in the day.
Just for someone new, how would you describe the difference between like a Skitter CK and maybe a Gork CK?
Actually, Skitter's not as good as dodging globals with the Aghanim's. Gorg, though, he is one of the world's best silent global dodgers with CK Ag.
100% hit rate.
Skitter's got a lot of room to improve on. But again, this is where this is where these players, they come to improve.
You can see some bleached up hair coming out of the helmet as well, right?
Well, we cut you off there, Lizard, though, before.
You're making a good point, yeah. What was the point
I feel like you said something smart and we just started talking about Gork. Shout out to Gork, by the way.
No, nothing, just that he's a seasoned CK Slark player. That's pretty much it. Yeah, and it's also like on one side there's a Naga being banned out. Like there's a couple of other heroes that work well against the Razor. They go with the CK.
Okay.
I mean, the thing for Tundra here is this draft coming out from Asta, some of the key heroes, it's very much like, it feels like European heroes at least, in regards to like OG playing and Razor. Like these aren't like these concepts being brought from Asta. It isn't going to be too shocking, at least for Tundra, in regards to like the region versus region battle. I think the main thing for them is they just need to be ready to play that laning phase and just lean on Lich CK, looking for the kills. Mirana not leaving the Doom securing that farm. Because if they do ever kind of get relaxed in their laning phase, that's what Asta's heroes will thrive on. The quick blink on the Mars, the pre-20-minute BKB on Razor, and then you just run down the CK and you run down this engagement. Like the control and the team fight from Tundra, you kind of don't have anyone to contain this doomed hero. You have a Sinister Gauge, you have a CK stun, you don't have the bigger spells to keep them in
At the same time, you can expect a lot from the Lich and the Sinister Gaze from Tundra. In the Chinese region, at least, it was one of the best counter initiators, no matter how funny that sounds. If you have a hero such as Mars or Magnus that jumps in and needs like that second to actually turn and use all his spells, if you're around with Lich, you can actually break everything apart. They just ban out the Spirit Breaker.
In respect as well, that potential mid-9 Spirit Breaker.
I'm thinking, it looks like both teams want their mid heroes, right? So
The Tiny and the Lash already banned out from Ori.
yeah, I'm thinking maybe 9 could pick up something like Pango, because it's something that's naturally just good against the Mars, because you don't care about the arena. You're able to break that link and stay off these heroes. They don't really have any BKB piercing abilities right now. That could be something that's nice, because they just need a little bit more team fight control so you can get maximum damage from your like Lich ult and let CK just go ahead and hit.
For Astra, I'm feeling like if Ember isn't banned, just double check it. Ember Spirit, for example, like there's not a lot of clean lockdown. And if you have a hero on mid for Astra right now that can poke some of the big spells, if you bait the CK to use ultimate, if you're baiting out a Moonlight Shadow, the Doom again with his BKB, you quickly reset. It allows you to do that quick smoke and then re-engage. So Astra's mid hero needs to be able to kind of unlock that kind of secondary.
So basically a playmaker, right, for Ori. They go for Slark instead.
That's Mars or Razor?
So I guess it would be Razor.
You can still go Razor plus Marcy on the offlane.
Yep.
Put the Mars mid.
Yep.
CM Slark safe lane. I think these lanes should be very solid for Aster, no matter what is picked next. Like, is there anything that you can pick at this point that completely dominates the Mars of the mid lane? Hardly so.
I mean, I just like the fact that Aster, they picked this Slark and we kind of stutter and go, okay, this is going to be, and Tundra is more in that same position. I'd argue if there was a
It's really good versus CK though. That's why they stuttered, right? Like you can go for the Bloodseeker, but your whole lineup would be
actually no,
extremely
sorry, I forgot you have CK carry. Ignore that. That was the worst thing I could have said.
Well,
I've seen Slog mids against Bat Riders. There's no reason why we can't throw some random shit into the mid. It's Tundra.
No, I don't.
9's down for it, man.
Yeah, what was the 9 hero pool thus far? Let's have a go.
Usually if you see a Slark, you want to go for some AoE, and they go for the Pango 9. It's super in his comfort zone, another hero that deals pretty damn well with the Slark.
Yeah.
And it's a playmaker for them that they pretty much needed.
Yeah, you don't need to worry about countering Slog, because you already do. When Doom gets his Aghanim Scepter especially, like the later this game goes, the more this Slog can just be dealt with and he can't just pounce around and do what he wants.
I'm a little worried for Tundra what their damage is going to be in the middle portion of the fights. When you have the Razor BKB, Slog with an Axe, Diffusal, the Mars buying whatever, like that style of play, Tundra's going to need some really clinical entry to fights to unlock their damage. If they don't, then maybe they could struggle a little bit, but yeah, we'll have to see.
I feel like Tundra is way more reactive than they usually are in a game such as this one, and Aster, they've kind of got them by the ropes with the Slark pick.
Right, well, Tundra definitely bringing something a little bit different here to the main stage. A lot of eclectic heroes that we haven't seen for a while, so we'll see how this goes. And both these teams obviously definitely wanting to start off strong and move forward. And there's also somebody else that was wanted to go well for them as well, because apparently there is only one person with a possibly correct bracket at TI predictions.
Only one?
There's only one. So whoever that is, I'm rooting for you as well, but I'm sure people are rooting for both teams. Aster versus Tundra Esports. Let's head over to our commentators. It's OD Pixel, Fogged, and Kezu.
Thank you very much, James. Yes, very much much looking forward to this here. Tundra versus Aster here in the upper bracket. I'm here with Kezu and Fogged. We've just seen the draft, boys. What's sort of standing out to you? What are you excited to see? Do you think someone's got a bit of an edge here with this?
I would say that I really like the Tundra draft in this game. I feel like it's kind of what they stick to. They also have this last pick tempo with 9 on the Pango, so I feel like they're going to up the pace a lot in this game.
Yeah, I have to agree. I do really like the style that they've gone for. They have this Doom that can always address the start, but we'll see, because they do have ways of resetting fights as well on Aster, but see how it goes down.
Absolutely excited to see, because that Doom in particular, right, something that we haven't actually seen being played for a few days. It's sort of a hero that a lot of other teams are ignoring, but Tundra, as they always have been, they love to play the Doom, and they still very much feel that this patch, it's still absolutely a top tier pick. Do you agree with that sort of approach to the game right now?
Not sure how much I agree with it, but it's definitely a 3-3 special. This guy loves this hero. Like, he's been playing it for as long as I know. Like, even back when I started, this guy was spamming this hero already. He plays it literally to perfection, and I feel like it suits them like very well. They're gonna help him later. He's gonna up the tempo. When they help him, he's gonna get top net worth, as he usually does, and then they kind of just go from there.
Yeah, they tend to be they just put so much pressure with the hero. I feel like they're one of the few teams that actually makes the Scorched Earth always look super threatening, like in laning phase and stuff like that. Like 1, 2, 3.
Have a bit of a battle here as Skeeter, he stepped up to the high ground, but Boga's going to be the first to fall low as Tundra will find that first blood. They'll lose Skeeter in return, find not to come to an end yet. Tundra, they want to try and push on for more. Shield crash pretty much onto the entirety of Aster as 9 looks to continue the chase. Aster, they'll get their way back up to the high ground, so just a 1-for-1 there.
Cool, and you already see that Aster, off of this, they have preparation. They already know what they're doing versus the Doom. You see this ward that they place here, blocking out the camp, making sure that you can also watch when they're going to start creep cutting too, because that's what Tundra does, but more so blocking the camp so you can limit perhaps for what that Doom is going to be able to find at some point when it's Devour.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the like more normal plays that you want to do against the Doom. You don't want him to get this mana burn creep, and also already 3-3 will be there later, but he's already there now, top of the net worth. He did get the first blood, so good start for him.
And we're seeing sort of this start where they're all very much grouped up around the mid. Does it lead to the potential for anything a bit different in terms of lanes? Is anybody trying to dodge one another with the setup? Bit of a whiff spear there, but even if it did connect, Skeeter able to get up to the high ground in time.
I mean, it looks like they're going to put this Razor mid as Ori is playing it. He should be okay in this matchup. I would definitely say it's a slightly Razor favorite in here. But, 9 on his Pango, he's going to get what he will. He can always get away from the link. He's going to get his CS. But most importantly, I think, are later the runes and the rotations onto this Razor. He's very susceptible in this mid lane.
Yeah, and I do like, that's a really good block there. 9 actually getting a bit of an advantage at the start here, so he will be able to couple it. We did see the mid ward get taken out from Siamese Cat, because they did get that D ward.
And having a look at these side lanes, already on top. Trying to make a bit of a go for 33 there.
Okay, so cool lane setups that they decided to do here. They put the CM bottom with the Mars to make sure that he's not, so that they can actually apply some pressure to the CK, because otherwise it would just be a CK free farming versus probably the 2 melee. So I do like this option.
Yeah, we've seen this kind of with a few different melee offlaners, right? Just having the CM down here, playing aggressive, and this just sort of allows you to use the full potential of this hero, the Crystal Maiden, very early on to sort of the enemy's annoyance.
I think it's very good for the bottom lane, first of all, but also, most importantly, I feel like Marcy can apply more pressure top against his Doom. It's usually the type of hero that he's very weak early on. Tundra are very good at using him aggressively with the Scorched Earth, as we have a nice little arrow without too much more connection. But to go back to the Doom, you want heroes that really pressure him in lane. You can jump him with the Marcy, pull him back, then the Slark comes in. So that is what Aster are looking for in this lane.
And in terms of the Slark, being Aster's final pick, how good of a Slark game is this for Monet? I mean, what's sort of top of the list in terms of things that he's got to be concerned about? Are there going to be timings of this game that it won't be too easy for Monet to find space or to make aggressive moves?
I think it's a pretty good Slark game. Of course, the Pango towards the end is definitely good against you. He can always chain stun you. Maybe with the axe, there's a lot of damage. What he has to watch out for is kind of to not get doomed. It's going to be his biggest downfall in this game. As 3-3.
But Monet, he's low. He has to be careful.
Yeah, for sort of throughout that entire move section. Making hits with the tower, put the fairy fire. He will just make it away there. Some early aggression here from Tundra underneath that tower, and just the spam and the harass keeping Monet incredibly low here.
That chain lightning, almost getting him there. And use the half salve there. Barely gonna actually get much of it out of it there.
They have no tangos. Feels a little bad for them here in this top lane. There's definitely a lot of space here for Tundra in the next coming waves.
And look how many, they have Mangos, right? 33. We've seen this actually a lot from Tundra throughout this whole tournament. They are just Mango advocates. Even sometimes when you see heroes that probably don't use that many, like Doom, this is a game where he's getting it. It works perfectly because he does have that chain lightning that's coming out on Monet.
Yep, that's the AUI 2000 big brain, coach input. He's definitely helping them with the mangles. I know he's always been, very high up on that. Even if you play weaker lanes, if you have more consumables in specific moments of the lane, it can really make like such a huge difference.
No, absolutely. I mean, yeah, only 4 CS right now for Monet. He's not having a fun time against this aggressive duo of Tundra that's been put against him top.
Yeah, and bottom snag does get the shield off on himself first.
He's able to turn, get a blast off onto XXS.
I think that shield actually saves him. I think he actually does go down otherwise from the rebuke and hit.
Seeing so far in the mid lane, pretty much dead even. 13 for 2 against the 13 for 1 between Ori and 9. No struggles to be had there. Bottom, XXS still very much prepared with plenty of regen. Pretty much a full one, very far in the south, so he's fit to sort of take a bit of harassment from Snaking and Skeeter in this setup.
But
and
so
CS is fantastic. Free farm for the Mars on the Earth, this bottom lane.
But Skeeter should also, this is why they go for this CK pick. Every time I do, I've been seeing this a lot from Tundra when they see like oppressive offlaners, just these pressure heroes. Sometimes they just have a lot of spam. CN, he just sits in lane and attacks.
Yeah, he also works incredibly well with Lich. It's kind of what Lich wants to have in the lane, someone aggressive, but at the same time he has all this inbuilt regen. Monet, top lane.
I mean, poor old Monet's just not having an easy time at all here. Saxon through the chase down, and there's the chain lightning to finish him off. Monet taken down. At the same time, down bottom, they'll attempt to get aggressive onto Skeeter, but the shield's up from Snaking. Skeeter trying to step back. Mango's being popped here by Siamese Cat. He's got another frostbite. And a blast. That last right click, though, not enough to take him down. Skeeter, he'll be able to walk away. But very much an incredibly different story here for the beginnings of both carries. Monet is not having a fun time at all up top.
Honestly, Skeeter's going to start having a pretty rough time too. No regen bottom. If he steps up, he just gets nuked and dies.
See here, Monet and Baboka, they're going to try and trade back. Go towards 33, but Monet's getting right click down pretty low by Saxa. Same to be said for Baboka. They're both incredibly low. Arrow's going to come out. Monet, he's not going to be able to finish your Saxa. Saxa kites him out with the lead. At 33, getting another kill. Saxa will fall. But this top lane continues to be an absolute nightmare here for the Slark.
I mean, this chain lightning is just devastating. I mean, you can see there the scorched earth damage, as I was mentioning earlier. Somehow, it always ends up building up. They make this ability just look so damn powerful in the laning phase.
Tundra are just so good at these early itemizations. He starts with the Wraith Band in the lane to give himself all the armor against the physical lane, then the magic wand, then you have the mangles. He gets probably the best creep he can ask for in this lane. Slark, low HP hero, he hates his chain lightning. Of course, he has Sax in his lane who's going to help him as well. And this lane is mid lane.
Bit of a setup there. They're able to get the connection with the arrow. Jump forward from 9, and that's going to be Ori taken down. So Saxa really feeling this early game pressure from the plays up top to now making these moves towards the mid lane. He has a good hold of these sort of early states of lanes for Tundra.
He has a lot of freedom now too, and when the respawn's going to come out, it's going to be around this 6-minute power rune. So Saxa, he's going to stay around here. He's going to be able to play around that rune also to ensure that the Pangol's able to get it.
Yeah, this is absolutely huge, especially in these lanes where like you do this lane swap where you're like, yeah, Razor's going to do well mid, maybe slightly win, but now this kill can truly offset it. Luckily for Aster, the rune does spawn bottom, but Razor's still P is on cooldown now, so maybe someone can refill Nine's bottle or he gets some resources. He could make a move to top again to kind of put even more pressure on Monet in this top lane, and Razor will not be able to respond to this move.
33 just
arcane boost.
Yeah,
the spam's going to increase it. This man's not running out of mana anytime soon.
It is going to be really nice with the Mirana because Saxa's having such a good game. He's level 5 already. So the Starstorm combo plus arcane boost plus the nuke, they're going to push Monet out of lane again immediately.
See bottom. Definitely one of the better parts of the map for Aster so far. XXS top net worth. Trying to turn towards Skeeter, but again, Snaking able to provide enough protection to make sure that Skeeter can't quite get burst here by the combos between XXS and Siamese Cat. They're trying to attempt it with a frostbite. A bit of a pull from Snaking. Make sure that XXS isn't able to close in and follow up with any further spells. So Skeeter's back under the safety tower. Snaking, actually gets the fairy fire up in time.
So close.
And that'll allow him to survive as well.
This top lane is definitely the biggest pressure point in this game for Tundra. They already got the tower fairly low. Monet not too happy in this lane, as we've mentioned multiple times. And I think if Tundra get to take this top tower before Aster get to pressure bottom much more, sure, they're doing well in the lane, but tower still full HP, and Razor not the best hero at rotating. So I feel like Tundra will soon look to maybe step up the tempo of the game, maybe 8-minute mark, help 9 in mid, and then look to rotate him into one of the side lanes.
that could definitely be a pretty difficult recovery outlet for Monet. He's actually putting 2 points in the essence shift, if you see that as well, too. So not having the Dark Pack maxed probably pretty early on is going to really hurt.
I mean, that's my kind of slot, but it's going to be hard to play with a couple of early points in the passive.
This is devastating. Yeah, the lane is just so oppressive. It's so much mana that they have because those arcane boots that just keep spending. Monet might just die again. They're going to chase him out.
See if they can find him in the trees after the pounce. Do catch a quick glimpse of him there. See if they can line up the arrow. They can. Monet will be going down again. And you can see there on the net worth, I mean,
and the Doom
it is up. It's ready to go. He hits the 633 and he's ready to drop that Doom down.
And he's got a Mango, so now he's got mana for Scorched Earth.
Ori with the TP.
And in fact, they'll respect the TPs. As Tundra, they'll bail out there completely. So they won't get a kill off the back of the Doom, but they do force that reaction from Ori, who heads towards top.
You can't blame 33 for that. You know, sometimes you're really feeling that kind of momentum that's coming from those kills. Does end up being a wasted Doom, but does end up forcing a rotation from Ori. Now Monet, as we said, has to get out of that top.
He's got to recover somehow. You're seeing on the net worth pretty much the same amount on him as Sax has been able to pick up from these early game moves.
Yeah, I think putting the Sarky in the mid lane is usually a pretty nice rotation if you have a hard time as a carry and you can't really jungle yet. Going into mid is nice. It's easy for you to get XP and gold. Mid laners usually at this point they're just going to push out the wave and, run away, maybe go gank another lane. But at the same time, Tundra really like their play. They pop the Doom, force TPs, and they get out.
So if you can find the Boca here in the trees, Nine. The Rolling Thunder, but actually, a nice bit of a spot that the Boca steps into. And Nine, he's not going to quite get the correct read on that. Very good little hiding spot for Baboka. And a spot that... he's going to step into now, though, so he will die. Will still go down.
Give him a little respect, Tip, though. Good spot. Anybody who goes top, that's just a devastating lane, really. And yeah, like you mentioned, the mid lane, Monet's there, but 33 comes to him, keeps putting him down. Still not level 6 on Monet.
Let's see this top tier 1 tower. Unlikely to have anything done defensively by Asta for it.
And Saksa with his early rotations also. Now he's level 7.
7, yeah.
10 minutes, and he's already got this aggressive ward that he placed earlier, so he can make these rotations and look to pretty much kill most of the cores. That burst damage is nothing to laugh at.
See Asta trying to make the aggressive move here towards Nine and Saxa.
He got a mid-shield crash.
See if that's going to be enough to take him down. I think it should be. Nine. He's caught on the high ground. Asta able to kill off the Pango.
The worst feeling for Pango when that happens.
Bottom lane Skeeter. Here to go with the ult. Turns quickly. Destroys Siamese Cat.
Yeah, the Pango would have lived for sure. He would have lived until he had enough Swashbuckle, got out, but Baboka with a perfectly timed dispose to cancel that. In the meantime, bottom lane, Mr. CM also. And right now, the state of the game is definitely not good for Aster. I mean, you can see it on the network already, but it's mainly about the state of the map right now. They did lose their top tower. Now the map is more open for Tundra. And Aster don't really have the lineup that is going to push back, smoke into you and kill you, or have an easy time opening up the spot tower. So I'm really kind of interested to see how they want to play these next 2 minutes. Is it just going to be keeping your cores, as far spread as possible to get all the lanes pushed out, or are you going to smoke 3 people from mid, perhaps to the Mars, bottom, and open up there? Because I think Tundra, they will counterplay you for sure.
I think they want to at least try to get some attention off the top lane. So I think moving the Mars, moving XXS, he's the strongest one on the map. It feels like right now with Ori, so it does feel like it could be the good move. Yeah, they're trying for it. Does look like Tundra might have the read. Skeeter, very defensive.
Let's see what they can set up here. Baboka also feeling rather strong, level 7. And get the setup. Quick rebound over towards Snaking.
Nice quick kill. Tries for the spear, won't quite connect. Should be able to go for the finish on the tower here. See if Tundra does look to respond. They do have, I think, most TPs at the ready. Never mind. Pangos isn't ready, so yeah, Bob.
Yeah, they're gonna chill. They're gonna be happy to oblige. Smoke move from Aster. Skeeter, it's like, alright, see you later. He's gonna TP out, keep farming. They're gonna keep pushing in the whole top lane. Perhaps try to pressure Monet a little bit, which is not too easy, but at this point, if you can just make the Slark farm maybe 1 wave all the time in his tier 2 and steal half his jungle, that's already okay. Like, look at Slark's net worth. He is suffering and he's gonna need help.
I think they even I think they side pulled a hard camp too.
It's very good. It's just a beautiful play. Like when sometimes it's hard to invade or really stop them from farming. So the best thing you can do, because carries are getting better and better, you stay in this lane, you wait for the wave to push in. Well, joke's on you, I'm pulling it.
Yeah.
Upon him. Quick setup of Tumblr's tie into the arena, but it's close to tier 2 towers. So TPs will be coming in. So the 3 of them can burst for a Skeeter, they can. The question is if they can get out without any sort of trade occurring as Saxa and 9 thinking about chasing, but Aster, they're able to break far enough away and they'll get away with that one without any sort of trade going back the way of Tundra.
Yeah, look at this. They pulled the top wave again. Poor Monet. He's trying to get these waves that come in, but 33, he just keeps pulling it in, denying a couple.
Yeah, I mean, teams are just getting a lot better at, playing perhaps a little bit of a slower game, knowing that if you just take the tower and you just kind of leave the area, Slark would just free farm. But you can see in his network that's not really happening. Aster, though, in the meantime, very nice play on the bottom tier 2, punishing Skeeter a little bit for perhaps being slightly out of position. This goes combo. They kill him and they force some TP, so this is definitely good for the game right now.
Getting pretty close to BKB on Ori, too.
That's going to be one of their first big timings for sure. Look for perhaps the BKB timing with Mars's Blink Dagger. He's about 1,000 gold away. So, BKB might come out slightly before that. But when they have those two items, it's definitely goal time for Aster to up the tempo a little bit in this game.
Yeah, he can kind of just run through, not have to worry so much about that Pango and Lich, the burst damage that can come out. Not Tundra, though. Looks like they're the ones making the first move.
We're going to see if they can maybe catch them before that timing.
Oh, this would be a huge time for them to grab the Razor if they can, but Aster defensively postured.
Positioning here from Siamese Cat. So we give any information. Make sure the Tundra can't really step up to the high ground, but Boca also ready to back up Ori if any fight comes in his direction.
And by the way, even though that looks like a sentry ward, everybody, that is an observer ward. That blue one next to the, the sneaky one that Tundra tends to do. That is an wait, no, it wasn't this time. Sorry, but they got me in shitting. There was a couple times we've seen them doing that this tournament. I was actually checking. It's this one on the left side. Sorry, the one that's just right next to it. There we go.
I mean, if it debates us, it probably debates the players too.
It really does. Naming the sentry ward, naming the outdoor sentry ward.
Boca, we'll see if the two of them got the damage with the ult and the CM, the controller to dispose. They certainly do. Good, quick move there from Aster as 9 caught by surprise.
But Boca's definitely got the Nikes on. He's in the right places at the right time, doing some good jukes, getting the right kills on the map. He's stabilizing the map right now. Like, if Aster keep getting to do this until they get this BKB blink and, let Monet kind of recover towards his, for now he's looking at a diffusal blade, that's definitely good for them.
I like how they were just, sticking around the Razor, too. Like, Ori's getting kind of close, 700, 800 gold away from BKB, just sticking right next to him to ensure that he can try to finish it.
Very much closing that bit of a lead that Tundra did get towards the beginning. 8 to 7 here, 15 minutes in. That's the 1,000 gold difference between the teams. Still a long road to recovery for Monet. They're definitely slowing down the pace to allow him to have that chance. He's able to farm this bottom half of the map with the tower already gone. A pretty safe area it feels for the slot to be in.
Yeah, and it's pretty nice because they did get those kills on Skeeter, right? They slowed him down, so Monet, he's actually able to now catch up because of that dark pack. So he's actually just pretty much tied his all things looking good.
Yeah, they're pretty much even networks. Like, Aster made a very nice recovery in this game. Like, if you consider that this was somewhat of a slow game where the Doom lineup is kind of bleeding in network, you're doing a good job definitely moving around the map. And now they've played the heroes in the right areas. Now Ori, he's going to have this BKB up, so I'm really looking forward to Aster just kind of looking for the lanes in a good position and then smoke it up.
Yeah, he's the strongest hero on the map right now on that Razor.
Yeah.
He runs into the fight. Only thing he has to have to watch out for is that Doom, of course, if it catches him pre-BKB. But it's not a Blink Dagger on the Doom. It is a BKB rush that's going to be coming out, so it shouldn't catch them off surprise. That Doom, I say.
33 himself very close to his own BKB. Diffusal and picked up by 9. Saxa trying to get that Vlad's done.
Looks like both teams hitting a bit of a timing, but Aster, I would say, one that they probably want to play around a little bit harder. The Haste Rune, the BKB, the Blink Dagger. They're waiting for an opportunity, already pushing out this mid lane.
The next 1-2 fights might be very scary for Tundra. Yeah, you do have the team fight with the Pango and 3-3's Doom. He's closing in on his BKB. He definitely wants that before this next fight breaks out. But if Aster hit their initiation, I'm not sure Tundra have a very good response unless, Snake King gets off a very good shield into Chain Frost. So if XXX's jump is good as bottom.
Almost a bit of a leap over the spear, but Saxa, he'll still take the brunt of the attack here from Aster. Find him off the back of that movement. We'll see if they can sweep around for more. They do pop the ult here from Ori.
He still has the Eye of Storm active.
Actually, already the mid for Boca. He gets the straight up catch onto Snake King. So a quick connection from Aster towards the mid. This should allow them to have a good shot at taking this tier 1 tower, or at least forcing some sort of reaction from Aster.
Hey, but Boca's level 11, by the way. Just going to be pointing that out as well. Level 10 on the Mars, but level 11 on the Marcy. So he's going to be going for this transition.
That's all day. Quick jump, they found 33. attempt to maybe find him at the end of the Rolling Thunder with the spear, but the Rolling Thunder lasts too long, and 9 will manage to escape. But we're definitely seeing Asta making some smart moves now, and Tundra very much getting caught off guard each time.
Space. He's loving life.
He's doing he's just enjoying it. He has a diffuser blade now. His team is doing all the right things, all the right moves still. 1k net worth lead slightly, but the game is, I would say, slipping a little bit out of their hands. They do have this BKB now on 3-3, so we can look, for them to play a little bit more aggressive. I don't know if 9 is calling, yo guys, I want my blink, I'm close to it too, because initiating for them is still a little bit, it's not the easiest. Yeah, you have Moonlight Shadow, perhaps you want to look to abuse that, but an instant jump, you don't really have it yet.
And definitely a lot more awkward for them to approach inside of that fight. Skeeter also, now he does have Echo Saber. This could maybe also be that timing. It is going to be coinciding soon with that Blink Dagger of 9. So maybe that's when they look to make their first move too. Because Aster, it's been them for the last few moments.
Boca, he's going to have the ult back up, and as you said, with the very good levels that he's been getting, he's pretty much level 12.
That's big timing also once you get that.
Super close.
Can still just get burst though. That's the one thing. He is playing versus a CK, so in some of these carry versus Marcy matchups, the Marcy can actually do decent versus some of those. CK can actually just blow him up if he's not careful.
Trying over the aggressive jump in for Boca. Immediate reaction from Tundra. They'll throw down the chain frost, but Boca will die for that one.
Nice for aggressive.
Yeah, definitely nice pick here by Tundra. They also must know they have a drums plus Wraith Pack completed. This team is definitely very good at, combining your small little timings. They do get this pick up straight into row.
Do they get away with this though? I feel like Asta, they've got a decent chance of taking this fight. I don't know if Tundra can get away with this one.
They don't kill it too fast.
And there's the jump from... Ooh, Martin locked them out with the spear. The Doom. The 9 still having to get the Rolling Thunder off. He's going to head straight over towards the race. But the BKB was off in time for Mori. So we run past the Rolling Thunder. There's the diffuser blade slow indeed as the BKB comes to
the rubbing.
Continues to control it, but the Eye of the Storm hurts 9 badly. And now Monet is ready to turn up. Jumps in with the pounce. Takes down 9. XXS pushes Saxa off towards the side. Finally, Ori goes down. But Monet, he's still looking pretty strong. He's ready to chase over towards the Lich. Take out another. Now turns towards Skeeter. Skeeter's surrounded here by Asta. It's going to be a triple kill for Monet.
Oh, he's back, baby.
I mean,
he's up level 14 now. Might even get another grab.
Yes, indeed, get another one here. 33. It's ending. The Moonlight Shadow buff. He's going to try for the TPO, but they found him. They found him. They're going to be able to take out another Asta. Monet, ultra kill. Well, this was the little old slut that was getting bullied in the laning stage, but look at him now.
I mean, beautiful fight, really, from Aster. It's really quite a lot that Ori gets the BKB off as the Doom hits him, because it kind of makes Tundra over-chase and over-commit into this fight where they want to really kill this Razor, but then they're like, oh god, wait, Slark is turned up, and we pushed so far into a tier 2.
Yeah.
See what happens here because of it.
They get to drag so far into it. When you have this Doom plus Pango lineup, you pretty much want to solidify and win the fight towards the end of the roll, especially if you're dropping Doom and your BKB at the same time. They get dragged in very far. Nice job by 3-3 to kind of, finish and back off. But now, Monet, he's like, whoa, free real estate for me. I come in here, I have my top net worth, I show up for the team, and he just cleans up. Ultra kill for him, and I mean, his game is more than fine.
I mean, it's looking terrifying now. Look at the distance between himself and Skeeter in terms of farm. He's only behind the Doom. I mean, Doom's a Doom. He's always going to be at the top.
Yeah. I mean, he pretty much has the Aghanims finish now. So that's going to just allow him to really get into the backline a lot easier. This Lich, now his life is pretty much impossible when that does come in those team fights. This is a pretty ridiculous recovery, really, for Master. And once you start getting ahead also now, you have the Slark. So any vision that Tundra is now placed aggressively immediately gets taken away.
I mean, so if you're Tundra, how do you stop Monet from falling out of control in the next team fight? Whose job is it really to kind of prioritize this slug, make sure that Monet doesn't get all this space to just go from target to target?
Gotta do him. It really feels like.
Yeah, I think it's important for Tundra that this next fight, now that they do have 2 Blink Daggers, 3-3 picked up his, that you make sure you combine the roll with the Doom so that there's no weird Slark ult coming out or BKB pop from the Razor, because when they initiate with their spells, the fight, it has to pop. That guy needs to die within 2-3 seconds. Then you can keep the fight going with the roll. And right now, both teams, they need to be looking at Roshan. So the next fights right now, it's all about whoever will, get to claim the ages.
Yeah, like you mentioned before, Tundra has this lineup that really wants to explode in those 10 to 20 seconds of those fights. But Aster, if the fight continues and it goes long, that's Slark. He's gonna just start taking advantage of that completely.
Yeah, Aster want to play prolonged fights, whereas Tundra, they need this really snappy and explosive, like, you pop the Phantasm, roll Doom, you get 1-2 kills, and then you either disengage or you, like, go for Roche, whereas Aster, they want to chill a bit, you know, pop your arena, kill one hero, Slark lingers around, and they keep going like that.
See Aster off the back of the smoke, maybe seeing if they can start things out, bait out the team fight, but already 9s with the Rolling Thunder. They jump with it, drop the Doom down onto Ori, but Ori's going to be able to keep his distance, but Boca left on the front lines will go down. 9 charging over with the Rolling Thunder to set up for a second kill. They'll take out both supports, Tundra.
This could get them that Roche now. They have the Alpha Wolf Aura, they have the Raid Pack, the drums, they have the minus armor that comes out from the Pango, so this time...
I mean, the 3 cores are still strong from Aster, and there is no Doom in terms of the ultimate, so there may be a temptation to do this.
I think they want to poke, at least, like maybe run over, throw in a spear for some vision. Ori, I think he wants to join the
Get a catch on the Monet. He's already able to put the Shadow Dance off. The arena's down. They will immediately lose XXS. We'll see if Monet can find any cleanup this time. He's going to bail out. Jumps out with a pounce. No longer a fight that Aster can choose to take, with XXS immediately dying at the start.
Immediately is the right word. Where the hell did he go? He evaporated.
I think there's definitely a chance where Aster can take that fight, but I think it has to be off of the back of Ori coming closer, using his body with the BKB, and allowing XXS to play a little more safe, because he doesn't have a BKB yet, so sending him in first, I think a little bit of a mistake, but Tundra, you know, they punish that, they get the Aegis, and now, once again, they're in a convincing lead in this game.
Aster, not to be deterred by the fact that the Aegis is in the hands of Skeeter. They'll look to hit up with a smoke. See if they can maybe catch Tundra whilst they're in this relaxed state of sort of spread out across the map. They'll look to Saxa.
They got to take advantage of cooldown.
The leaps. Outplay the pounces from Monet. He won't catch Saxa here today.
Instantly drops the Wraith Pack. Something to always watch out too. There is a Marcy on one side, so this Wraith Pack in most of these fights will be addressed from Baboka. And Monet, he is queuing up that shard, so of course wanting to be able to bail out the target that does get doomed. If it's not him, we'll be able to protect them a lot of times with that depth shard.
He's going to pop the ult here to try and finish up the tab, but Tundra, they're going to have something to say about that. 9 jumping forward with the Rolling Thunder. Ori immediately popping the BKB in response. We'll see 9 continue to chase up the high ground. Skeeter's able to pull back Baboka back into his own clutches of the CK. As Baboka falls and the rest of Aster got to be very cautious now. 4 versus 5. They don't want to mess around with Tundra, as Tundra is chasing them down back behind their tier 2s.
Aster tries to punish this, you know, the cooldown of the Doom. Weren't able to, and now Doom's going to be back up, so Tundra probably looking to continue to look for something, even if they don't have Rolling Thunder.
Might just get to poke his tier 2 a bit. Skeeter, he's feeling strong. He's got BKB, Aegis. On the flip side, Aster here, so they have the shard, as you mentioned, very good against Doom. So I think now if you're Tundra, you kind of need to Doom Monet or not use it unless the Rolling Thunder is really going to disrupt, even if the shard does get dropped. And Ori, he is close to this AC, and he currently has a DD bottled up. So right now, if you're Aster, very likely that they're currently communicating, yo, I have a DD still for a bit, help me get this AC, and then we can look to go together and take a fight.
Let's see, top lane, Tundra.
He's done this a lot on 33. Octarine is finished up already. Same build he did, I think, or at least that we saw from Saxa do, at least on the Doom, I think it was the other day.
Yeah, so first of all, with the Arcane Boots in the lane, he gets to split it for the lens. It definitely makes it easier to drop your Dooms and stuff. And I think also with, you know, all the refresher nerves and BKB mana costs, I feel like the Octarine really comes in nicely with the higher cast range and, most importantly, the bonus armor.
And most importantly, always
cooldown on the
Midas.
Yep, more money.
More money here.
How can I forget that one?
So look, we want Shadow from Tundra. They really want to try and do something around the mid with this Aegis on Skeeter.
Look how they're backpacking even the Wraith Pack Saxa. When they're doing this play and walking through mid, backpacking so it doesn't reveal. Some quick little plays.
Very cute.
Now, if you're asked, are you just trying to avoid fights for the remainder of this 2 minutes of Aegis time?
Unless you see an opportunity that allows you to kind of go around on the backline of Tundra, I think you're better off just saying, okay, we can chill. They did have the DD earlier. That's like a little opportunity, you know, that can make it easier for you. But now, if it feels hard, you just don't really need to go for it. Aegis is still there for a bit. But if you see an opportunity where you can go around because you feel like maybe Tundra won't be ready, then that's really your time to shine. And it looks like that's kind of what they have in mind here.
I think Hori might have actually gone unseen on a creep wave in mid. He walked in and nuked as the smoke was getting popped. Let's see if Tundra caught that.
See, Aster, they are going to try and make a play whilst that Aegis still stands in the hands of Skeeter.
They want to abuse the Slark vision.
Fresh BKB on XXS this fight.
So if they can catch 33 before he's able to drop the ultimate, but immediately 33's able to do, but just as quickly Ori was able to get the BKB off in time. BKB is up for him, he'll start to back away, same to be said for Monet, but Boca does get caught by the catch of Skeeter, but Monet's going to jump in aggressively, second time round, he'll put the BKB, look for TP, but he's at 5 heroes. Reaching out to him. There's no escape for the CK as Asta will take the team fight.
I mean, picture perfect the way they take this fight, right? They jump in, they show the Razor, they're like, doom me, please.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much every single time, right? These reactions from Ori, I think has he got BKB every single time off that he's been doing pretty much?
Pretty much. Seems like it.
Yeah, and then you can just see the Slark shard, you know, these prolonged fights. If Aster get their BKBs off and they live through this roll in Doom, as we've touched on multiple times now, the fights will look like this if Aster continues to play them as beautiful as they really have.
Check it out here.
He runs in. Doom, yeah, he pops the BKB on it. Here comes Monet. Roll kind of not doing much. Yeah, sure, you do get onto this backline. And Baboka does end up dropping, but he bites back. It's close to their tier 2.
Back in action. Monet. It's can find more.
It's really good synergy the way they did the fight, too. They all ran the same direction.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do see when it's like, oh, God, these type of panic plays going to happen. It's one person run one way, one person runs another. They all ran left together, which, I mean, was perfect, really, for them for that fight. And now another DD. Couple more items, I believe, also picked up. I think they did get a gem now on the Crystal Maiden as well, and I think Baboka's about to have BKB too after using his buyback. So more timings also for Aster. Even though they feel like Tundra with that Aegis had a timing themselves, Aster has shown that they can clearly take any of these fights if they do approach it properly with that Razor roll.
There's a bit of a farming ult here from Baboka. Yeah, I just want to speed up the pickup on the BKB. They might.
They're punishing him.
Kill him. They'll see him in the mid, get him with the jump. So, a short-lived ultimate.
He's dead alive.
To clean up that wave at least before he got ganked, you know.
Sure.
So an efficient use there. I like it.
70 seconds though, he's gone.
Yeah, it's definitely
That's
gonna.
the thing, he doesn't need to have his ult available if he's dead. You know, I'm gonna die mid.
That's
true. Use the ult to farm.
That's 100 gold. These next fights for Tundra, it's very important for them. They are ahead in the game, but fights probably feel harder for them as they perhaps think they should. It's very important for them that they need to spot out this Monet Slark, which is not always the easiest task, right? Slippery hero, he knows if you do see him, because again, this roll plus Doom, their best target by far is this Slark, because he will be able to save his teammates, and that is not something you want to play into right now.
See Asta.
Radiant's
even with the
Why
Woken
try and catch Tundra by surprise? Now, this is a moment that Tundra probably won't expect Asta to be bringing the fight towards them. We'll jump over the Sax and leaping all over the place, but they will lock him down and take him out.
And now this is the sweep to clear the vision also inside their jungle. They're starting to feel that there was pretty much, 3 wards actually, or 2 or 3 wards placed down, so we'll be able to get at least 1 or 2 of those.
Yep, another one.
Respawning. So even though that gold advantage has been there for Tundra, it feels like Aster has been able to take every single one of the fights if they do just continue to do these approaches.
Yeah, it very much feels that the 4K gold is basically the Doom.
It's the Doom.
Yeah.
It is the Doom effect, right?
Literally. Yeah.
So in terms of sort of the actual tangible value of sort of items that are available for both teams, it very much feels that we're pretty much on an even playing level right now.
Second Roche is going to be very important for both these teams. Teams at this level, they will both know that the earliest respawn will start within, your next 50 seconds. Both teams, they're going to definitely play around that because Aegis, Shard in this game, it is a very close game. Yeah, the network does say Tundra is ahead, but as we said, they need to hit their conditions a little more in the fights to actually beat Aster.
Yeah. Let's see if now with the 3rd Blink Dagger, they're able to get that initiation a little cleaner. Skitter also has one. They also have a Basher on 9, so an extra form of maybe stunning control to keep them in the Doom so they can't reset as we've seen multiple times from Aster.
Are scanning. Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Very careful around this bottom push here, Tundra. We're seeing if they were able to catch out anybody from Asta heading over to try and clear out the creep wave, but won't be the case. This tier 1 will be left alone defensively by Asta. Asta sticking together.
Asta will also always know that Phantasm on cooldown is being used to farm constantly. He showed them in mid.
Yeah.
XXX actually cleaned them up, so that is a little bit of an element that they always will know that Tundra doesn't have.
Asta just don't really care about the spot tower. You don't want to get baited away. You just took back your jungle when the second Roche is about to respawn. Instead, good job by them. They invade the enemy triangle. One thing I want to say about the Speeder Blink Dagger, I think another way that I haven't touched on yet is that if you jump multiple targets at the same time, obviously Slark can't really save all of them, right?
For sure.
So maybe you can jump the Razor with the roll, but you jump Mars or whatever with the CK, and even though he saves one, he cannot save the other. So that could be another condition that Tundra are currently playing for.
I almost want to see like one of the cores maybe carrying a dust then. Because if the fight's going to get so split up, you can't always depend on these supports to be able to cover versus the Glimmer Cape that's on the CM. So maybe one of them will have to sacrifice an item slot. I see that at 33. He's had the dust in his backpack, but he keeps swapping that between the Wraith Band. But always have to be careful if you do go for split up fights and don't have any detection.
Coming up to that potential time for Roshan, just about a minute until they'll be back in play.
18, XXS, about to have level 3 ults.
Buybacks and this dire outpost are going to be crucial in this next version of fights. Both teams, you need to like trade your BKBs for the Doom spells. If you do end up dying to Doom, you can buy back and take the second Aegis, and then that will really help you, play against each other. So both teams should be talking about this right now. Perhaps if Tundra want to take a fight, you need to smoke, take the outpost first, and then fight, so that Aster can just buy back and come back into it.
Aster knows how important this next few moments are, really just positioned on this area around the Roche, protecting that ward.
Scanning.
Also, SNY, another item finished up, Ori. So first that Doom, that status resist. We'll have to watch out for that.
I think Mono was going for one as well.
Oh, did he actually queue it up? Okay.
Oh, he's
going to change it
yeah,
up.
he was thinking between the SNY and the Lincoln side.
Okay.
Yeah.
We did see 33 did have the Ags queued up before. He has shifted. We don't know what he's going to go just yet, but it's probably going to end up being that at some point if we do see those Lincolns start getting queued up.
Yeah, especially if I think Monet starts showing like an ultimate orb of perseverance, you can bet that 33 is going to queue up that Axe. Aster, they are going to smoke. It looks like they're going to make the first aggressive move.
Sort of a jump they're able to start the fight with.
They showed themselves mid. They nuke out the wave while they were smoked.
This could be a good round.
There's a DD. Hello.
Skeeter is prepared. Two steps into this first. Smoke the spell. They know that they're up here. Drop down the ward. XXS is going to be looking for the
nice
jumping.
spear.
Catch on to Saxa. None with the spear, but he's still forced aside everything of the Nico Saxa. Saxa, he's away. He's out of the fight, and Baboka, he's having to deal with 33. 30. He's going to look to bail out the BKB TP out. Will actually kill Baboka on the way out there. Back in action, Monet finishes off the kill onto Snakey. He'll come back in with a buyback. Then down Ori, though, he's in so much trouble. Skeeter just doing incredible amounts of damage. The swashbuckle bash over towards Siamese Cat as well. Tundra, they'll take the team fight, and at a very important time as well. Roshan is up. They'll head straight into the pit.
Didn't even use Doom. They didn't even need it in the fight. They were able to just reset away. 33 actually jumps the backline, gets on Baboka, 9 as well. They cause so much havoc. Split the fight up completely, which lets Skeeter just jump in afterwards and pick and choose his target.
Yeah, like after they run into this high ground, they think it's like a good jump onto this Mirana, but he's very tanky. He drops the Wraith Pack. They pop all their BKBs, but they don't end up killing anyone, and then it's kind of, switcheroo where Tundra now, they just run you over, your BKBs are done. As we can see here, they have a nice jump on the Mirana, but Saxa here, force that leap, Wraith Pack runs away, and now it starts getting like a little weird for them, and they're like, okay, we need to get the hell out of here, but you're not running away from a Pango and all these Blink Daggers, and now, Tundra, they win this fight, they get the Aegis, and 13,000 gold lead.
Yes, indeed, that was always going to be a tough fight for Aster to step into. Tundra having the favourable positioning, indeed the way that they're able to sort of split it up, the supports of Tundra taking so much focus from Monet.
Look at Skeeter, he was feeling that moment. He was finally able to jump into a fight as the CK gets
He
him.
could do something and slay them.
Huge injection of gold. Everybody kind of having a full item now finished up also.
So what the call is from Aster now. What to do with this 4 minutes. Tundra will be very comfortable with taking a fight.
Right, that's the Axe Doom, so they have to be so careful how they position themselves on Aster too.
Got to be very prepared for this move. Tundra are on the hunt for Aster once again.
Got everything ready. Phantasm in 15, but they don't need it.
Aster have good positioning. They're kind of waiting. Let's see how Tundra approaches.
Skeeter. Going over the Crystal Maiden, but then Monet jumps in, but there's the Aghanim's Doom. At 33, all he's got to do is stay on top of Monet, and then Monet is going to have no response. Nothing to be done against that, as Monet's out for 80 seconds. And the rest of Aster, they've got to run. Tundra, they're going to try with the chase. Arrow. Not going to quite reach towards Ori. He's out of there. There we have indeed that the power of the Aghanim's Doom. Not much that a poor old Slark can do about that one when 33's on top of it.
And look at when the Slark respawns, and look at the Doom cooldown. Actually back up before the Slark even respawns, so for Aster, this is starting to look really difficult. They have to try to find these angled approaches that were working earlier, but Tundra are seeming to cover their bases a lot better.
Yeah, you're not going to get to abuse this cooldown anymore, at least as long as one of your cores die, which I think is going to be the case in every fight coming up. So I think unless you look to get some 4 staffs, which Siamese Cat has queued up for now, these fights are not going to be that much easier for you. I believe that Aster might just wait out his Aegis, and then it's really crunch time to talk about how you want to approach these next fights.
Yeah, I was about to say, 4 staffs or even the shard on the Marcy. It looks like he has queued it up, so that could be another option to maybe just toss somebody out of that Doom area. And definitely not going to be an easy one, though. Tundra now having... So everyone's so much tankier now, too. 9 has a full Shiva's Timeless Relic, too. It's hard for them to really find a target to focus fire on Aster.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
AC done. Skeeter, the big items. Starting to roll in for Tundra.
Middle tower is under attack.
Starting to feel like maybe some damage issues also coming in for Aster. I mean, especially because, of course, one person's always going to get doomed every single time, but everyone on Tundra's starting to get pretty tanky. Halberd even on a Mirana.
Yeah, like we had this earlier where we were like, yeah, Aster prefer long fights, but I feel like at this point now with all these items coming out, AC, Aura, you have Shivas on 9, you have Halberds, Wraith Pack, Force Staffs. I'm not even sure if Aster prefer these long fights anymore. I feel like it has shifted a bit where they now need to get a really solid initiation around the place where Tundra cannot buy back. And I'm pretty sure you need to kill these supports first because they're not going to burst through a CK even if they jump in first. So fights are not easy for Aster right now. Definitely need to look for them to clutch one of the next fights out of a smoke.
Yeah. So how do you focus firing a hero when they're going to be frost shielded, taking 60% reduction? Force staffed, boots the bearing, removed out of the fights too. It's, yeah, like you said, have to try to find some of these supports to take them out, but yeah, they're not fragile either.
It's going to be very difficult for Aster to any sort of move right now. They're just having to let Tundra. That's the way we're taking these towers. I think the wave's pushed in.
And Boca just continuing to use the ult farm.
Maybe this Hex on XXS that he's working towards is something that they want to perhaps abuse on one of the side lanes, perhaps get a pick off, allow yourself to have more of the stun duration to perhaps burst through heroes. One of the other timings that perhaps that they have later, Ori has a blink now, so I think they want to have this quick initiation, have him follow up, and later in the game this refresher will come out. It's been a while since I've seen a refresher Razor. Of course, we all know that's very strong, and I just don't know if that's gonna be enough for them. It's all gonna be about this clutch jump from them.
They just keep getting bigger. I mean, 33 is nearing critical mass. He's got the bots too. He's nearly running out of.
I mean, this guy is nearly full slotted. That's for sure.
And he's always going to be able to be at every fight because of those boots of travel too, right? So they could even look for these fights. The Moonlight Shadow as well. They're going to be able to sweep the map a lot easier and kind of just keep Aster trapped inside of the base. Scary moments.
What sort of is the next step for 33 of all this money? What is he going to upgrade the blink? Does he want to swallow the Aghanims, get something else in that slot?
Probably upgrade his dagger. They already have a Shiva, so you don't really need to go for that. Perhaps upgrade your blink, then you just sell your Midas, you get a refresher, or eat your Aghs, get a refresher. Depends on how greedy he wants to be. You know, he might just eat his Aghs and get the refresher, keep the Midas, knowing him.
Definitely possible. Keeps the bottom lane shoved, joins his team immediately, and they just continue to keep Aster trapped in the base. Gold lead is just continuing to grow and grow and grow.
There's the Hex. As you said, this has got to be something that Aster are able to make a big play with around sort of the reveal.
Head-on team fight just doesn't seem possible. I feel like now it's somehow you have to try to maybe look for pickoffs, but the way the Tundra's playing, they're only showing the Doom for a quick second on some lane, but everybody else is sticking together.
Let's see what they can do with this item reveal of the Hex from XXS. I mean, who's sort of the ideal target? Are you just looking to get in and Hexa one of the supports to easier kills, or do you just try for a core?
I think if they're at all together on Tundra, you need to go on a sub. If they're split, then you can try for one of the cores, but if this is a clash like this where you don't know what the enemies are, you're definitely eyeing this Lich and Mirana first.
Both teams smoked up on opposite sides of the map.
Dire's middle tower.
Bid's getting hit, so they know that something's up.
Yeah, look at all the lanes from Tundra.
Double siege wave bottom.
Have to come back to the base now. Aster smoke comes to an end. Not able to catch Tundra off guard as they wish to.
Tundra might just look to go in with this bottom wave just a little bit. If somebody shows, they might just show where he's showing.
There's the jump, and they're going to be able to get the pull back into the stun. Mone's going to get in, able to drop down. The shard there to ensure that Ori can have the chance to break away from that jump. Got the BKB there as well, though. Monet to try and save his Razor.
Nice attempt there from Tundra. Just trying to take advantage of those double catapults being there. They did get 550 damage on the tower because of just that jump.
Yeah,
No, they don't get a kill.
It's very good by them. So first of all, they have the gem. They just want to keep the map narrow. They want to force Aster back to the bottom lane because they knew that Aster were previously smoked in their own jungle, right? Now that you force all of them here, again, you sweep across the map, you take your gem, take out their vision, take back the outpost, and now it's once again soon time to play around the third big boy of the game, which is Mr. Roche. So Tundra with some very quick and swift map movement in this game.
Chasing out. Do have a ward to play around. Only one that they do have right now. The base continues to get sieged. They have to address those side lanes.
It's so hard for them to step out this stage of the game, Aster. Almost just have to wait until Tundra approaches them, maybe even until Tundra's at least on their half of the map.
Look how hard it is to kill these heroes now, too. An Aeon Disc on 9. They have a Linken's on the CK, too, so they're covering all their bases.
Just
to
start
make
the
sure that
Roshan
much harder.
They know that they don't need to really have any cares in the world when it comes to Aster approaching the Roshan pit. Ori, Link out. Rolling Thunder down. Tundra will reset a little bit with that in mind. They'll back off. Won't try and push the Roshan whilst they're lacking one of the ults.
Well, they did get the rollout, so not too bad for them. I still think for Aster, as we said, of course, they're far behind, so it's not easy. But buybacks are going to be the name of the game, I think, for them if they want to win this next fight. Try to bait out some spells, come in with the buybacks, get a clutch steal on the Aegis, and then kind of try to, come back into this game. Because they're by no means out of it, but they need to hit all these next plays and timings.
Yeah, that feels like it actually just has to be the solution. We've seen that a lot from teams in the past. Yeah, bait the Doom, like maybe just throw Ori's life away at some point, and then letting them buy back and jump into the fight afterwards and try to clean up. But have to be careful because soon, as you mentioned, 33, he did buy the overwhelming blink, but he's getting close to having that oath for that refresher as well. So could just have the 2 Dooms anyway.
Get the 25 as well off this wave.
And now it's a break as well, so. Oh boy.
Yeah, this Doom is pretty strong, huh? And also, if he ever dies, if he does get, of course, right now, no, he has all the buyback money. So I think for them, for Tundra, it's important to not fight too close around this outpost because they should know that Aster's only win condition are buybacks with a TP back in. And 3-3, if he feels very strong, he can go in first. If he trades his life, he can buyback bots TP 2 on just one of his teammates and come back to the fight as well to try and nullify some of these plays from Aster.
They can easily do this Roche like this, full HP, Cedar, and 9.
See if Aster want to take the risk.
They have to scout it.
It's just so dangerous, but at this stage, with the amount they are behind Aster, they've got to make a risky move. They won't have a chance of turning this game round.
Playing into an Aegis cheese and Ags at this deficit feels pretty much impossible. It looks like they really want to try to take the fight.
I like what Tundra are doing. They just kind of stopped and wait.
They don't.
33's in, the early Doom's there. He's going to look to chase down Babunka. Babunka was able to get the BKB off, and they do manage to ensure that Monet can break away from 33. Still though, they've lost the 2 other cores, XXS and Ori, and now Siamese Cat as well, short to follow. So they were trying their best to approach Tundra from some sort of surprising angle, but the walls were down, vision was set up, and Tundra once again able to get that jump in. A little bit of a silver lining there that they could get Monet out to safety, but 3 heroes still go down. Roshan still goes the way of Tundra. Aster, they fall further behind.
They get the chain stun. The stun catches on the Razor. They get the arrow. I mean, even from then, anywhere before that, it looked probably just going to be over. They spent their gold too. He bought the full refresher before the fight on the Razor, so that was them going, all right, this is kind of our last chance of a fight. We can't actually win around these buybacks, and it doesn't actually work out at all.
And here's the push. DD Rune as well here for Skeeter to speed up the siege. What can they do about this Aster? Doesn't look like they've got a whole.
They need to delay.
Options left here. They're down 35,000 gold. Tundra onto the barracks, forcing out the fortification. Look to play it calm as well. They won't immediately push for a second set of racks. They know that they're in a spot that's very, very comfortable right now. They can definitely look to take the safest route out of this game.
Yeah, I mean, half of Tundra's gold lead is currently in their bank with 3-3 holding 8,000, 9 holding 3s, and the rest of them also holding like 3 each. So 20k is definitely in the inventory right now. They're going to chill a moment, think about the next item, spend their gold if they want to. And then, yeah, I mean, Aster, they will look for one of their last fights, again, where they need to go around as they did before. It's hard, but this is the only way that they can win this game. If they just wait in their base, Tundra will bleed them out until the end of the game and just slowly finish.
I wonder if we can see the win probability, because I imagine it's getting probably down to one of those 1% ones at this stage.
Does feel like that.
98. Close.
That's
more than I thought.
It's a generous 4%, I would say.
Let's have a look, see if Asta can find that 4%.
33 pretty much has the gold for that refresher plus buyback in a second. And there he starts the siege.
There's the jump Skeeter. They get this time straight away for Ori. Ori's going to get thrown out to the side by Baboka.
Baboka will take the arrow.
And for that, may lose his life. No. Okay, Monet. Would you say if the depth shroud ensures that Baboka will also be saved, Asta, they keep one another alive?
So scary for Aster. It's like anybody who shows, and anybody could just die if they show their face that they get caught by those stuns. But Baboka sitting way far back to be able to make sure that he can try to rebound, disengage his teammates. But they just don't have to continue watching.
Now, who do you jump? Who do you start the fight on if you're Asta? You really feel like you've run out of options at this stage.
And there's that refresher finished up for 33.
They're going to try.
Spear back.
With the jump, 33 will respond with the Axe AoE Doom in on top of XXS. That'll be the Mars going down. Has got buyback available. 33 moves over now towards Monet, but Monet was able to put the BKB in time. Keeps his distance. Timber's thrown out. Skeeter pops the back as Monet has to bounce back over the safety of his tier 4s as Ori will go down. No buyback available for him.
The Axe Phantasm.
Now just with the 4 members of Asta, is there anything they can do to slow this down? The tier 4's falling.
33 still has the refresher. Here it comes.
Oh my goodness, he is actually able to jump out in time. But 33 Stoon's back up in on top of XXS. GG is called as Tundra will take this game 1.
Seemed like there was a small window where Asta was starting to bring things back together, but Tundra, they just played really patient.
Yeah, I think like this mid-game timing really from them, Aster had to get kind of more done really in this timing with their BKBs where they were winning like 1 or 2 fights here and there, but Tundra, they just really, they held it together and then they just strike, like one fight won and the whole game crumbled from there.
Yeah, they just, when they play with this Doom, I mean, they really just are so comfortable the way they play around it, get that advantage, and they keep pushing it and pushing it. Even though they lost those fights, they were still the aggressors in most of this game, and yeah, wow, that's just... That one fight really turns everything, right? Because it looked like Aster, they're kind of bringing things back. It's like a 4K lead, and then boom, Tundra just explodes, 14K gold lead. They control the entire map.
Yeah, and we very much saw sort of up until that fight that Asta did try and look a bit of a stalemate. I mean, was that very much a part of the game where Asta did indeed have to take those risks? Is there, would they be looking back at this now and saying, maybe we could have taken a more passive way out, tried to extend it, or were you always going to lose the long game anyway against sort of the farm that Tundra's building up?
I think they definitely had to try and like speed up the game with like this 50 to 20 minute mark with their BKBs and the team fight, but they didn't really get there. And I feel like at the end of the draft, perhaps they didn't address the Doom well enough with, the switch up with the Slark. Not my favorite, but, they tried it, didn't work out. Next game, I hope it's going to be something different.
Absolutely. We'll see what happens in game 2. But as for now, it'll be Tundra who take game 1 of this best of 3.
Welcome back to the panel. Tundra come out strong with the 1-0. And yeah, addressing the Doom. 33 on the Doom. Did you think they did enough? Or was it just, Doom's getting bigger, and the AoE kind of mute? Is that when it all kind of went wrong?
It was an interesting answer with the Slark, getting that for the Doom, for the CK. Historically, take the fact that now you can have the AoE Doom, it doesn't work as much. It isn't as strong, right?
Yeah, it was just very hard for them to play at that point. I think the Doom was honestly the funnest thing for me to watch throughout the game because of the way they played around it. Like originally, they were over-chasing. They would Doom the Razor with his BKB and then just chase him way too far. This is the fight that happened, and overcommitted, died as a result. The next game, they Doom the Razor, but they let him run away and they focus on killing his teammates, like that adaptation. Then there's just more different ways. This fight, actually, I think they doomed the Razor, but then tried to chase him a little bit more instead of focusing on the heroes that weren't doomed. And the way they played around the Doom this game was very funny, but as soon as I got that Ags, it was smooth sailing.
Was this the ultra kill? Because the moment Slark got the ultra kill, I was like, okay, this is it. The game is over. Pack your bags. We're going to game 2.
But I think both teams just demonstrated how they were learning, how they wanted to take the fight throughout this game. Because Asta early on, they were like, okay, guys, if we can survive that initial Doom, kite away, then reinitiate, we can crush these engagements. But that only worked out a couple of times. When Tundra, they hit their kind of critical item timing, then they were like, wait a second, it doesn't matter if we're not using our big Doom. As long as they're wasting their time trying to shut down this overfarmed 33 hero, then we're going to be able to just capitalize on our ability to take these fights.
What's a big doom? Is that the AoE doom?
Oh,
big doom is AoE doom.
Yeah.
Small doom is target.
Small doom is
have
when
small
he
doom
runs
and big
away.
doom.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's multiple dooms. But yeah, I just think the way that Tundra played this game, the fact that Satsa as well, I did pronounce him correctly, I think. Level 7, so early on in the game, super disruptive, that they just had an incredible start to the game, that it didn't really matter what Asta had because Tundra just had the confidence from laning phase.
Yeah, the laning phase, it was the Mirana and Doom, and that went really well for them. So they weren't too worried about the Mars being, I think it was XSS on the Mars being even higher net worth. They were like, nah, it's okay.
It was a crazy laning stage because Doom and Mirana, they were completely dominating the lane, but they weren't really pulling ahead in net worth because he was investing everything he had. 33 was buying like 9 mangoes. He got the dark mango on the lane. Just so
when you buy 9, it becomes dark.
Exactly. Yeah. Just so he's able
Wait
to...
until next patch. All right, I'm just saying.
It's going to happen, I'm sure.
Weird flex, but okay.
You can dig it.
Yeah.
It
would never happen. Okay, yeah, so Asta are going to have to go back. They're going to have a little moment to kind of recover. What would you like to see as a change? Because, you said that the Slark at the end wasn't really what you were thinking as a final pick, but in terms of how they played, how were they performing in Game 1?
Ooh, I know one of the biggest grievances I had was with their smoke into like the triangle of Tundra at one point. They just walked up onto that high ground where Tundra are holding their high ground and just feed like so many heroes. You can't make those sorts of plays. Felt like they were a little too brave in that regard or overestimated themselves. But, on the flip side, I think Tundra did an amazing job of always playing in the right places on the map and holding the right areas.
And even the way they defended that high ground, that Aster was so brave to go in. It was the CK on the high ground using ulti, sending the illusions on the low ground to scout out for possible smoke because they knew what was coming their way. They prepared for it.
All right, well, we'll see if Asta come back out and do take us to another game, if they can push us all the way to Game 3. But until then, let's check into Singapore with Slacks.
Hey, thank you so much there, James. Guys, pretty good Game 1, huh? Not too shabby, anybody? There we go. All right, fantastic. Now, gentlemen, how are you enjoying the games? What'd you think? Exciting series?
Yeah, I'm enjoying this. I particularly enjoyed the late game, which is something I'll be enjoying after this series as well.
Oh, wow. What a natural sales pitch there. Fantastic. You having a good time?
Yeah.
Okay, great, fantastic. Wow, very exciting crowd here. 2 very nice gentlemen. You know what, though? We can get some more excitement in here. We can watch some short films, my friends. We have 2 here for you today. One which is a very exciting mix of a little practical effects, some SFM, and then a hilarious one with just some SFM. So let's go ahead and take a peek at what the community has created.
This way. Hold still. Just like my teeth. Let's go. Oh. Oh.
Live Relay Radiant. The main news by this hour. Due to the increase in cheese prices, the strike of Roshan's continues for the third day. As a result of severe forest fires, hundreds of nature's prophets were left without work. Due to the abnormal heat, more than 1,000 residents became victims of sunstrike. Our experts believe that the cause of all the troubles are emissions of the Dyer's Ancient. Someone has to destroy it.
The panel, yeah, amazing entries. And if you guys want to get involved and show some support, you can head over to Steam to cast your vote on the short film contest. But I think what we all agree we need here on this panel is just a little bit more purge.
That's right. I wanted to talk about what was so cool about what 3-3 did last game is the Doom. He started the lane, he found that heartbeat creep, and he's like, we can win this lane if I just buy a lot of mangoes. And that's because the Zap does 140 damage for 50 mana. That's 2.8 damage per mana. That's like 3 times more efficient than other spells that are normally cast at that point. So he uses the Zaps and all these mangoes, even though it lowers his net worth, to kill the Slark a bunch of times, to harass him, to get him low, to pressure the Marcy, the hero that's supposed to be the better laner. And then he turns that into a pretty rapid Arcane Boots. All weird items for Doom to have this early on in the game, but between him and Mirana, they just slam and slay this lane together, which they're not supposed to do. They picked those heroes first. Their opponents weren't able to react well against them, despite having the entire draft to do so. So they mega overperform, using their Arcane, getting lots of kills. Then he gets Midas, completely far ahead, much more than he's supposed to be in a normal game. So it's a really great pivot from 3-3.
Thank you very much, Purge.
Thank you, Purge.
Thank you, Purge.
Well,
Thanks, Purge.
Arigato, Purge.
I've been on fire that entire
You okay?
It was very hot.
Yeah, well, Tundra are on fire. They picked up the Doom. They made it happen. And yeah, it was a fantastic lane for them to have. But I do believe that these guys will, that both the teams will be heading back onto the stage soon. What do you think Asta have said?
I mean, they've got to bounce back in the fact that they just lost a game, which was the 5th biggest stomp in TI main stage history. That was the biggest net worth lead, or like the 5th biggest net worth lead. So for Asta, it's like, that game didn't happen. Let's reset fully because, yeah, Tundra with an excellent performance.
Well, let's see if they've reset, because here come the teams, and it will be Asta coming back out onto stage, 1 game down, but certainly I don't feel that they were kind of outplayed in a huge way. I just felt it was a little bit with the Doom. I think they're going to address that. Obviously, Tundra Esports in the same position Team Secret were just a little bit moments ago in the other upper bracket finals. Win this one match, Lizard, and you're in the upper bracket finals.
It must feel amazing for these guys. Like, some of them have been close before, but it has to feel great. For Aster, I would just put Ori on something a little bit more flashy. Like, this guy has improved so much since the last couple of seasons. He's been a great player ever since he's been a competitive player, but give him something flashy, give him a spirit. Don't put him on a razor.
I thought you were about to say Spirit Breaker for a second. I was like,
okay, sure.
Don't get carried away.
Even the Spirit Breaker.
That's only Nine's job.
Sheeps, what are you thinking here?
I just think if you're giving away a comfort hero like Doom, you just have to address it a bit more. There's no way he should have as much net worth as he did and have that much impact, and you're not kind of just running it over. Obviously, it's hard. Like, we talked about this in the first panel. They have so much comfort and cheese, and you can't ban it all, right? But I would like them to just have a better draft.
So just ban out 33, like all bans.
Yeah, get rid of it.
Teams have done that before. Like, it wouldn't even be
It's not the worst, actually.
that out of place to do.
So if 33 does get a little bit focused on the bans, as we get reintroduced to Tundra Esports here, who normally do they kind of fall back on or rely on, or who does it open up? Obviously it opens up the carry, but is it as big of an impact as 33 had here in game number 1?
Yeah, this is the thing, when you think about Tundra back in the EU competitions, as soon as they start banning out 33, it opens up Nine's hero pool to get more creative, because it forces 33 to pick his hero earlier. So for example, we got the Doom in the previous game, so if the bans start targeting, they'll just pick his hero earlier, and now suddenly Skeeter's getting a little bit more thought into his carry. Maybe Snake Team's getting a better fight for the lane, or now, like I mentioned, Nine. So I think unfortunately, this thought process, teams have tried doing it before against Tundra. It has failed before. So I think for Aster, it's more just be more confident with the heroes that you're getting and make sure you actually win your lane. If you're playing against Tundra, you do not give 33 and Saxa a free lane. If you do, you normally lose to Tundra. So I'd just say bring more to your safe lane. That's the key thing.
What's the craziest is, like you're saying, it opens up 9. That guy, his hero pool never can get banned because he's not playing the meta heroes. That's the problem, right? Like you waste all your bans on 33 and then 9 still picks some Kotl mid. Not right now, not in this tournament, but before at least. Or even in this tournament, like the Spirit Breaker mid lane.
I'd like to see him be more creative. Like he's, at least in the DPC, he's had some flair and right now he's performing great, but imagine if he has that pocket hero still.
Well, here we go. We're ready for game number 2. Over to our commentators, Odie Pixel, Fault, and Kezu.
Team Aster. Thank you very much, James. Yes, we're ready to walk you through this draft of Game 2 between Aster and Tundra. Boys, we saw what happened in Game 1. There was a certain point of it where it very much felt that it was all over for Aster. Coming into this Game 2, what are sort of going to be the main points you would imagine they're going to have on their minds in regards of what they maybe don't want to let Tundra get a hold of, or what was kind of missing from their draft or didn't allow them to have a better shot whilst playing from behind in the late game?
I mean, I think we both are going to agree. Ban the Doom, right away. And then at least for me, I want to piggyback a little what the panel said, and I do like having Ori more on like these playmakers, stuff like that. I mean, the Razor didn't look bad. He did have like these excellent BKB usage and all that, but something about it when Ori's playing these like playmakers, they always have this like tempo that's being set, and Monet is able to get a bit more space. Even though he did somehow recover this game, I don't know, it's just something about when I see Ori playing like these pucks and all that, he just looks amazing on them.
Yeah, I agree. Like, just also with like Tundra in terms of the hero pool, I feel like 9, you can't really ban out. I feel like what they want from him right now is that he just plays a tempo mid where he then helps 3-3's lane. So I think you want to kind of nullify / match this by having a tempo mid yourself, an okay / strong safe lane that does well against the 3-3 lane, and when Tundra go for this move on this lane, you want to be able to counterplay it. And I feel like last game you have an offlane Mars and a mid Razor who even he's the one that gets ganked on, then suddenly your map falls flat at 8 minutes when, well, surprise, 3-3 and Saxa do well in their lane and they push you out.
Definitely. I feel like, I think T actually made that good point too in the panel that was talking about how he does want a stronger safe lane just so that we don't see that, 33 Saxa what they're able to do, because, it was a lot, of course, like pressure was, we saw a lot of the pressure, of course, coming 33, but Saxo had this incredible game on the Mirana that, was a little bit dwarfed because we kept seeing these Dooms, but this early Wraith Pact, it causes problems. All these early items, these early levels as well in these 4 positions.
Yeah, early levels, the early Wraith Pact, then it allows you to like make more moves, play faster, look into this Roshan.
Yeah.
As to here, they open up with usually from their position that they're in, with the first 2 picks from second pick, they like to go Marcy, Shadow Fiend, or Leshrac +1. You don't really see that many first phase Leshrac bans, but Aster, they win a lot with this hero. They always pair their Leshrac with like physical mitigation from either Lich or Sven, so Tundra make sure that they take this out. They take their first pick Tiny, can move around the map. So here, this is like the first important point for them, and this is their most important hero at this point. They're gonna go with a Broodmother. It just makes SF's life really hard, whether he's safe lane or mid. I don't really want to be the Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, and this build that you go pretty much almost all the games now on the Brood versus the SF, the Pipe Wraith Pact build, sure, they're going to have ways to kill the Wraith Pact because they have the Marcy and all that, blah, 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 but it actually limits, I think the Shadow Raise combo, if you have like all of it, does like 200 damage. If you're hit by 3 raises and you pop everything, it does literally nothing with that mitigation, so that's probably the build that they're going to look to go for, and it's going to be a very impressive, and again, another lane where they're going to look to kind of surround, take that tower early, and bring that pressure to this Shadow Fiend, so maybe might not be a SF safe lane still. They could still flex things a little bit on Aster.
There is also a very high chance, because it doesn't feel that amazing to like suddenly start swapping up your carry pool when you see a Brood, is that you can put offlaners in this lane to like lane there and then hold the tower. That's why we already see the Mars ban. Maybe we're gonna see like some sort of Tidehunter, Kunkka, Pangolier, all these heroes, because you need to answer Brood in 2 different phases. You need to be okay in the lane against the hero, but then later you need to make sure that you can hold the lane / defend the spiders. So like, all these legions, the other heroes I just mentioned, and then for Aster, they also want to make sure that they have team fight, because you want to fight back the Broodmother. You can't just give this hero the whole map, especially when this hero is first phase, which it is here.
Yeah, absolutely agree. I actually really like the approach that we saw from Beast Coast, right? When they saw that Broodmother from EG, every single one of their heroes could kind of address this Brood at some point, either in lane or in game. They had CM, they had Mars, they had Snap, they had Tiny and Slark as these examples, so definitely could look to see something like that from Aster, and we're seeing these bans already coming out. Mars, definitely one of the best ones versus the Brood, immediately taken out.
think also, so for Tundra, again, what I'm going to look for them from the second phase is, once again, 9. He's going to play a tempo mid-hero. All these heroes like Brood and a lot of these heroes that 3-3 does play, they love when you go to their lane. I mean, you always like when your mid lane ganks for you, but especially those heroes, they really take off with a +1. So 9, very likely that he's going to play again something, you know, like the Spurrbreaker, like the Tusk. He could be the Tiny if they want to flex it around, for sure. And in terms of Aster, I think strong laning 5 coming out for you next to kind of help you, you know, lane properly against the Brood early on. Whoa, quick pick. Straight up Snapper. Yeah, sure. Just more team fight for you. I think this is one of the heroes that Beast Coast also had from the one game that you mentioned. Just overwhelming magic damage. Like when you play into Pipe, it might feel a bit weird that you have a lot of magic damage, but Pipe, it's very good when there's like low to mid amount of magic damage. When there's actually overwhelming and you can still kill through the Pipe, then it still feels kind of bad. So this Snapfire, I can definitely see it for them. Helps them a bit more later to also just make moves, maybe take back their jungle. And here for Tundra, likely
Hoodwink is probably looking likely, actually, because I like poke and prod heroes and also these big burst heroes, and also the Zeus. We saw this actually was the other one that we've seen done a couple times. Any way that you can, like, we mentioned multiple times, it's always versus Shadow Fiend. He hates to be poked. And these heroes, they excel at that. They also have massive burst damage on everybody. I'm liking right now from what Tundra's having to deal with the Shadow Fiend, because that's kind of been his falter in this main stage, right? I think he has like a 10% or 12% win rate so far because people have really learned what to do versus this hero. The Shadow Fiend just really doesn't like
he's really not doing that well, at least for now. So Mirana, I guess, it could be 4, could be 5 once again. I assume it might just be their 5. Something cool as well here with the Tiny Zeus is that Tundra may think that they've kind of swapped the SF out of the safe lane. I think Zeus mid is something you don't really want to play against all that much as a SF, especially if Tiny can roam on you. Otherwise, you can still put the Tiny in that lane as well to kind of give you the tempo, which is just the formula that Tundra are looking for. So I think here, for Aster, they probably want to hold their offlane pick until last to then counter pick the carry. But here, this is a very important pick for them because you don't want to end up picking a second carry when you already have the Shadow Fiend. You want to bank on his game and help him out.
I'd like something like the Kunkka. I mean, we saw Nisha do that. I think that is an excellent hero because you always have the catch versus the Zeus. You'll have address things versus the Broodmother. The Rum is going to be nice versus Tiny Burst. So if that's something they want to do, it can be. It's one of Ori's. It's one of his specialties. So I'd be surprised if they don't look for something along that route right now.
Kunkka for sure, definitely one of their better heroes. Pango is banned, Mars is banned too. Those two would also somewhat stand out in the squad here, but Kunkka lanes well, can gank, has a response also to the Broodmother here. They're gonna go for something a little different. So, you know, just solid lane as well. It's a bit of the same story as Kunkka, right? Can counter gank, has high amounts of reach, so they just want to play perhaps an easier setup with the Snapfire ult. So I'm not too opposed to the Storm pick here.
Interesting one, for sure. I wasn't sure if they'd go for it because they have that Shadow Fiend, so it's like these two kind of carries working in a way together. I feel like maybe, their front line could be a little bit lackluster now, but yeah, we'll see. It is also a very comfortable Ori hero as well, of course, and it is that hero to get on that Zeus all throughout the game.
So if I'm Aster here, I mean, they do pick very last, but I think for Aster, they would definitely want to have a team fight type of offlane, perhaps that also looks at some pipe building type of hero, perhaps, you know, something like the Tidehunter. So I think if you're Tundra here, you do pick first, but you need to also think about what does your enemy team need, and then ban for this carry that they have to pick out of phase. I would say that usually Tundra are a little bit more like the semi-carry style, not like, you know, some anti-mage, more so like the CK. You play on this high tempo with the rest, make use of the auras. So I think Tundra, CK is that would have been one of their better ones. I'm currently looking for what else they would really want to go for. A hero that can like semi-jump as well. So and either way, you only have one jumps. Brood wants heroes that goes in with you. So and also, if you want the Mirana to be 5, you want like a somewhat of a strong laner. So all these heroes like CK, Wraith King is something they've played before. I'm not a huge fan of the hero personally.
What about the Skeeter Faceless Void?
Team Aster's turn to ban.
I could
work this game. Hero that gets on top of the SF, you'll be able to have that late game scaling always. Extra control for the Storm to let you set up for the Mirana. Could definitely see it. Seeing them banning out a lot of these heroes that Void hates playing versus too. Like an Beast, so I do think you might be onto something on.
10 seconds remaining.
See if maybe Aster sort of thinking along the same line with their final ban.
Tundra Esports turn to pick.
What am I missing? Faceless Void is at least striking me for now. Bloodseeker ban is okay. I think perhaps it's also here that would have been good against Aster's potential last pick.
Seconds
Let's play
remaining.
some Slark too. I mean, 3 heroes and you can pounce that can be pretty annoying. Well as that Marcy, perhaps maybe. Don't like it as much as the others, but
I feel like it's not Wraith King simply for the fact that it's not the best hero, and I feel like they would have then banned also Tidehunter as opposed to Lycan. The Beast ban does, could tell a little bit towards this Faceless Void. Laning stage could be a little bit of a problem, unless he really thinks that his team will power him through that one.
it's the Slark.
It is the Slark.
Because it's something they've ran before.
Yeah.
It works really well. The Slark Zeus is probably the most annoying thing to play against. If you get behind in the game, you have no vision.
Yeah.
Absolutely no vision anywhere. So, and yeah, the pounce, it is amazing versus 3 heroes right now to be able to prevent them from mobility.
10 seconds remaining.
They've been a comfort style so far from Tundra. Now for Aster.
Enigma is out. That would have been one of your more favorite heroes.
Oh, Dawn, a hero that hasn't been played in a couple days. I think it's only been mostly Thunder Awakens that have been playing it.
Okay. I mean, I like it in the sense, right, that, as you said, one of the ways you want to fight against the SF, you want to have this huge amount of burst. Now you've got some sort of save that might just be able to buy enough time for Monet to survive any sort of jump that Tundra makes on it.
Yeah, now you have this follow-up also for the storm jump every single time, right? He jumps to the back line. Maybe sometimes it can be for Storm. Dawn comes in, he's going to be able to protect that Storm versus a lot of situations.
I feel like this Dawnbreaker actually has a lot of purpose. He's good in the lane against Slark. He helps out your Storm a lot, both defensively and offensively. You definitely want to have the offensive capability in your draft. And also, eventually, if you really want to, you can also park the Dawnbreaker in like the lane where the Brood is playing. He can just solo defend like the tier 2 tower or tier 1 tower. Then you still have the Solar Guardian to join your team. So I really like how Aster did bring together their draft with their 4th and 5th pick in this game to still have a very good game for all of their cores. So in this game, I feel like Aster have done a better job as opposed to in the first game.
For sure, and I guess the big question in terms of the lanes at the beginning, would you imagine, are we going to see Monet have a bit more fun from the start? Because last game, he was having a pretty sad time, right? Tundra, they really had it out for him in the lanes. He was not having fun as the Slark last game.
Should be able to have a better time. But that being said, also Tundra is a team that we said that they're going to come with mangoes. We're going to click on their heroes, we're going to look how many mangoes are going to be set there to prep for that early aggression. So we shall see.
It's definitely the type of lane where SF should be able to hold its ground for quite a while. I would say the first time it really swings is when you're either scared of Tundra coming to your lane or they really do show up at your lane and then the SF kind of has to rotate around. So I think the segmented 5 to 8 minute mark is very important. If you want the SF to hold the bottom area, Ori in the mid lane, he needs to be ready. But in order for him to be ready and be topped up with resources, maybe a rune, they need to help him as well around this timing of the game to then make it easier for him to help in the play after that.
All right, well, let's find out how this one goes down. Game 2 here, ladies and gentlemen, between Aster and Tundra after what was a very impressive looking game 1 from Tundra in regards to the way they closed it up and just managed to get the game to a point where Aster seemed completely helpless, falling further and further behind in terms of gold and control. We'll get this game off quick to a very quick start already. Aster hitting out with the smoke. Maybe seeing if they can set up for some early action as was found in the beginning of game 1.
Let's look at the mangoes. What do we got going on? Nothing too crazy. I mean, the craziest one is really Skeeter having the 3 mangoes, but this has been something they've done almost every single time on him. Always starting with that. And yeah, this Dawn pick, we keep mentioning, I actually think this is really cool because, as we said so much, this SF, he can really struggle versus all this high burst. So, yeah, really looking forward to see what XXS is going to be able to bring to the table on this.
I've also seen a few different item builds on this hero, like perhaps it was Saberlight in the group stage who went for like some Wraith Pack build, which is very nice. Like, you see a lot of these range carries come back into the meta. Yeah, they're all very good, but they all abuse Wraith Pack to like oblivion. The minus damage coming out, the lifesteal, the bonus damage for yourself. So I could definitely see like a shift of item build here for XXS, for him to just play around his cores and kind of match this aura building from 3-3 in this game.
Yeah, we see Sacred was one of the ones that was also doing it a lot. Most of the games that he played it, Falcon Blade almost directly into that Wraith Pack so they can join in and kind of prevent all that damage. So yeah, could be a cool one. Could be a lot of lifesteal that's coming out for this Shadow Fiend, right? Between the Marcy and if he does go for that build.
Let's see if they want to try and take a risk around this bounty rune. Tommy's Cat and Ori, they were thinking about it, but 4 heroes around from Tundra. So, still won't try and force anything there. See with the lane set up, so bottom lane, as I said, this is what, a million times better for Monet in comparison to what he had to deal with in game one's lane.
Yeah, and he's got Baboka, he's got Marcy with the SF, just kind of one of the strongest safe lanes that you can position yourself with. So let's see how 33 and Sox are going to be able to do it this one. Are they going to, is this a lane, I always wonder, is this a lane where Tundra's going to straight up fight in it, or are they going to just pull randomly? Because Tundra is so difficult to predict when they're just going to go for these pulls and when they're just going to go for the battle in the lane.
Yeah, so I think this is one of the harder lanes that they should be facing. You do have Sox currently taking tree grab. Perhaps he wants to get a couple of denies. But I think this is a lane that you want to split a little bit until Tiny perhaps gets like level 2, 3, and then you can look for like small engagements. But overall, Aster, they should look to dominate this lane very heavily in like the first 2 to 3 minutes. Raises, Marcy jumping in. Maybe we even have to watch for the level 2 timing in this bottom lane.
Yeah. It is so crazy, really, that repositioning for Shadow Fiend just allowing you to get pretty much triple raises every single time when you get that level 2 on Marcy. Has to dispose level 1, so maybe can go for it here.
And they're going to start stacking them up onto Saxer. He's going to opt for the TP out. And indeed, that will keep him safe. Not quite able to get the distance there to set up another raise, and even if so, probably wouldn't have been enough with the third level 1-1.
You see how much that slow is immediately. When he gets hit by the second raise, you have to just go for the TP out. Smart play from Soxa. But anyone who gets grabbed from it is under pressure. It's almost level 2 already on Baboka. So, I mean, this is probably the lane that we want to be looking at mostly. It's the highest kill threats.
Yeah, this next tree bottom is the level 2.
Oh. Simone trying to get the distance so he can get another raise in. And indeed, with the level 2 hit, Baboka able to jump across with the rebound and set up to take Saxa down. And of course, that will be a Tiny out of the lane and without TP. So for a little bit of time, a couple of waves, 33 will be left on his own.
Are they bringing more mana regen down here, though, on this side of the Aster? That's the one thing I'm looking at. The Bassies are coming from Monet, so he should be covered to be able to spam those raises over and over again.
I mean,
so they keep looking for it.
They definitely just want to keep on playing this way. This is perfect for them, especially now. Tiny, you know, Saxo is out of the lane for a bit. 3-3 is perhaps not too unhappy as the lane is in an okay position for him, but yeah, Aster, they really want to keep the ball going in this lane and just continue to go off of this. So the Bassi on Monet, great for him, great for his lane partner, and they'll just keep up the pressure.
And they actually get a full pull off, a stacked pull, so the whole wave is going to get denied. It's going to get pulled back closer to his tower. Monet is going to have an excellent time in this laning phase. Looking at mid, Storm versus that Zeus. Ori should be able to have very good time in this matchup. And top, Dawn as well. So all three lanes for Aster does look like they should have a very good start. To be able to even apply a decent amount of pressure to Skeeter has to be quite careful versus the burst of these two.
And I think especially with the lanes going this way, you know, if the trajectory stays the same, I really want Aster to look at his mid lane later around like the 5-minute mark, especially if your lanes do go this well. Your supports are a little more freed up mid lane.
Might be able to almost get 9 here.
I think he might just be able to. The Fairy Fire give 9 a bit of safety. Indeed, the bottle charges as well. It's enough to keep him safe, but getting very close there in the mid.
He got grabbed actually with like 3 or 4 creeps on him. He almost got stuck between them. Excellent vortex by Ori. Might go for it again. Yeah, gonna try to go for more damage here. He's just putting a lot of pressure onto 9. Yeah, I'd like to see, like you're mentioning, I want to see Baboka go mid. This is an easy kill onto the Zeus for the Marcy.
He's making his way over.
Yeah. This is already like a very nice play. They're stealing the bounty rune. They're kind of playing around this HP and mana level of 9 right now because Ori had this great little play.
Oh, they're going to look to dive this for sure. Now with the rebound, Vortex ball back onto 9. A TP comes in for Saxer. It's a 2-man avalanche. Should be able to get some trade from this as Baboka will fall.
Well, we might be able to actually go for pushing Ori away from the rune as well, too. Let's see if Saxa does do that.
He's debating it.
Let's actually step away. I thought he was going to go with the creep wave if he saw how little mana Ori was having, but isn't able to deny away that rune. Top water rune, though, should be able to get grabbed from Zeus. Excellent move, though. Baboka seeing the opportunity because he did, as we mentioned, you know, he got that pull down bottom, so it resets the lane positioning for Monet, which allows him to go for this type of move mid so freely.
Snaky's got to be a bit careful top. He's getting very low here. We'll see Scatter Blast back online in a couple of seconds. Ooh. Siamese Cat, he's looking for a target here with a shotgun. Skeeter.
The hammer. Just too low range.
Not quite able to reach him there.
Falcon Blade already done up top, so he's going to be able to continue that spam. Also, tons of mangoes, both sides. Some we do see Aster also matching.
Yeah, all these lanes going Aster's way right now, which is going to make it easier for them to continue the pressure. And as long as they, you know, hit their early game moves, especially with Baboka, we're going to have to keep our eyes on him. They want to like pressure around. mid lane, some more pressure. I think once Ori does hit this level 6 mark and the 6-minute rune, that's going to be the first like real objective of this game.
He's going to hit the 6, it looks like, just before 9 is able to also. Might just be able to go for the straight dive.
Bottom lane.
Getting aggressive.
Not at a point where they can quite threaten Monet completely, though.
It's a strong timing for 33. As soon as you get level 4, this is one of those like peak laning timings for the Broodmother. Can constantly apply pressure. You're so fast. You have great regen.
Yep, this is also where, you know, the item builds that they kind of, I would say, brought into the game, where you start with the magic wand early on, you now have 18 chargers. It's going to make it a lot easier to man fight and maybe turn it around, because you have 18 chargers right now against the Shadow Fiend. But here, both teams are going to put their eyes on mid. Both teams know this is crucial.
Zeus ult is available too, so I have to watch for those side lanes. The SF Monet does have to be careful how low he sits. Where's he going to be? Bottom. Great rune for Ori too. Would have been an excellent rune for Naim to perhaps be able to disengage from a Storm Spirit, but yeah.
See bottom. Asta very much trying to set up in case 33 steps up too much. Monet hitting the level 5.
I like this from XXS. He had the Falcon Blade done, and he's like, this is not enough mana. Buys the Soul Ring as well on the Dawnbreaker. Just continue to be able to slow down Skeeter's farm and just continue spamming out. I like it a lot.
Yeah, like right now, if you can keep this, what they're doing, it's very good. Like if your Silence can stay on high HP, keep pressuring, then Zeus doesn't really have a play to use his ult aggressively, which is definitely what he wants. Whereas Aster, if XXS gets to stay in this lane, punish and pressure Skeeter until he gets his ulti, he can pressure the lane, but then also join his team and also go back top after. So I really like the fact that he's double downing on this mana region to keep the pressure up in his lane.
See it, that haste rune Ori. Let's try and set up for the play on the 33, but a quick avalanche will stop Monet from being able to be in position to line up any raises. 33 easily able to step back underneath the tower. Saxa, he'll go for a TP out. They've got nothing to stop it. Tundra able to make sure that rotation from Ori amounts to nothing.
Ori wanted the bigger kill. He could have probably just gone and settled for the tiny with the initial jump, but he wants to go for the Brood. Can't blame him.
Yeah, he has a haste rune, right? He feels strong. He feels like they're going to hit this out, but Tundra, 3-3 here with some nice jukes.
And so if they do make an aggressive play, as you mentioned before, it's going to be brought in with the Solar Guardian.
Yeah, I would really like them to execute this play on the mid lane, like with the Zeus or maybe the rune. Like if Zeus comes to contest this, yeah, you kill that guy. If not, you get a free rune for Storm, and then once again Ori can look for what he wants to do. Is they're fishing a bit for XXS top.
He's tanky.
And we get the toss back over to Skeeter. TP's coming in return from Asta. See if they can save XXS. And nice setup there. Baboka provides the lifesteal, and XXS with the Starbreaker pretty much heals right back up. And now he's ready to turn. Takes out Saxa. He's going to get back to safety, and at the same time, the Vortex into the cookie. Asta will find 9 as well.
Oh, this early game is really perfect for them. The lane setups, the way that they're moving and distributing the wealth to an experience. Even now, after that kill, a regen rune spawns bottom. Everything is going Aster's way this early game.
Yeah, this is some very high-level Dota coming out from them. You know, just using the right amount of heroes in the perfect places. You only send your Marcy top. He sidekicks your Dawnbreaker. He turns it around, gets the Lycer. In the meantime, Storm and Snapfire, they play together. That's all you need to kill the Zeus. And now they're waiting for 9 on this respawn right now. So I want to see how Tundra kind of help him get back around this area, because Aster, they have 3 heroes here with the Solar Guardian at the ready.
Full mana Storm too.
You can feel from Tundra as well. They're staying right away from this tier 1 tower, or at least being very careful in how they approach the defense.
Their 2 side laners aren't really heroes that want to be like, hey, they're diving mid, let's just rotate like a Slark or a Brood in. That's not what they want to do whatsoever. Yeah. Brood and Slark, very independent heroes that they want to stay in their side lanes as long as possible. So a great move from Master to really kind of punish that they know those 2 heroes are just not going to make the rotation mid. And if they do, it's extremely awkward for Tundra.
Yeah, I do like how Tundra are playing around this. It's currently like, this is something what I like to call a ticking time bomb. Yeah, you do have the Aster heroes in the mid lane, but as long as you do this kind of very calm, you don't lose heroes or your tower, this is allowing 3-3 to end up taking this bottom tower, because no one really wants to be here. I do think there's a world where you can put a hero here because you have the Dawn ult, but they're just deciding to, you know, more so play around the mid and top half, get the active runes, and play around your Storm.
See, maybe if Tundra want to respond this time to this mid play, because again, Asta, they're looking to set up here. Already, Siamese Cat coming in from the side.
Oh, that's a good courier kill. Snaking a big one. That's the fairy trinket and the finished Kaya. So actually a big deal that he gets that snipe from Mori. Or not the finished Kaya, sorry, but the recipe at the least. But the fairy trinket he does take away.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Okay,
attack.
so Monet, similar to the last game, right? He doesn't feel comfortable in the bottom lane. He's gonna go mid this time around, but this time it's not only to save XP, but rather to help with this tower. I don't see Tundra defending this tower. If you fight into this, there's a Donald coming. They should just be happy with, Slark and Brute kind of going back up in the network, but for Aster, completely different story. You want to keep pressuring up on the map and lower the map for Tundra here.
Yeah, and for Tundra, like their lineup overall, as for when it comes to straight up team fights, it's pretty non-existent. Yeah, they're actually just very lane and then pick off oriented. Aster, they have overwhelming team fight. Like 4 of their heroes really bring it so much to the table. So these next few moments, it does feel like Tundra's gonna have to just chill out, not overcommit to anything, and be careful from all the moves from Aster.
And do you think, considering Tundra's lineup, is that something they can afford to do? This is sort of a draft that, is able to sort of recover from a sort of early game deficit if they do start to lose a bit of map control?
I would say it's definitely difficult because there's so much pick off from Aster. The Storm can catch people on the side lanes with the Dawnbreaker ult. They can set up pretty easy for Aster to catch pretty much anything. So for Tundra, the next few minutes is really difficult. Just avoid fights, try to get your wealth back so you can try to find something, try to find somewhere to go.
Yeah, if Tundra are only down like 4k gold at 15 minutes, then they're going to be playing the next 2 minutes very well, because as it currently stands, I think Aster, they have answers for everything. They do put the Dawnbreaker bottom now, which means one of the next plays for them is likely to pressure this top lane, kick the Slark out. You should not allow Skeeter to play in this area for all too long. XXS can always connect while he's free farming the bottom lane. And yeah, Aster shouldn't really be scared of much, because Tundra they can't really do all that much right now. Their damage is a little bit lacking. Their cores, they need to keep farming.
Yeah, the Brood of the Slark, these heroes just do not want to get involved until they feel like that big timing does come in. So have to try to rally around 9 somehow. Looks like Snaking and Saksa trying to make some type of play. Just feels so difficult. It just doesn't feel like they're gonna have the damage for anybody they go on, because it's just gonna get received by a solo guardian instantly.
So if you're Tundra, I believe that you wanna kind of wait. Maybe you can.
See, Ori.
He's gonna try and start something over towards Saxa, but the Moonlight Shadow's out, and Tundra will manage to disengage.
Aster's just running as a unit. I think they really just know there's no way Tundra's ever gonna walk into this straight 5v5 or 4v5 and then a solo guardian coming in. It's smart choices, just taking out these towers. So Tundra, they're just farming, right? Just no way that you're gonna look for the fight. So everyone just farm a camp, arrow some camps, etc.
Like, I think for Tundra, what you want to wait for is at least the defusal on Skeeter, your pipe on 3-3. You're getting somewhat close to them, so yeah, if Aster do overstep, you can perhaps somewhat look to take a fight as Ori fishing for more.
Yeah, Ori's going to try and chase up towards the high ground. He's getting a little low on mana. Skeeter's able to put the Shadow Dance in time. Look to escape from Babokum with the tools available. He'll get a little bit away. Not quite able to get down to low ground, but he'll be fine nonetheless. They don't quite have the vision on him, so Skeeter will escape.
Okay, so now that Aster have taken over the top tier 1 and the top jungle, I would like to see them smoke with 3 of the heroes, Storm, Snap, Marcy, a kind of a killing duel, especially now that your map looks nice, your SF is kind of safe. I would like them to go away from here real quick, look for a smoke into the enemy triangle or to the Brood, get a quick kill with the Dawn ult, and then migrate back to top, because I do think, Aster are playing very well, but Tundra are also getting away with, quite a bit at this point.
Yeah, the Slark is not too far behind, of course. I mean, he's 5,800, sure, Shadow Fiend is 7,300, but that's expected from an SF safe lane. I do think Aster making the right move so far, but could still look to make a little bit more happen because of that advantage that they do have right now.
For sure, because right now it's not that easy to take the top tier 2. You probably don't want to force the Roshan just yet. You maybe want a little bit more network. So instead, if you can't force objectives straight up, you want to go look for a play, especially if you do feel strong. So here we do have the smoke up on them at 9. He's clearing Quad Ancients.
Nice, a big stack, at least a core.
And they are making the move, but I like that they're not overcommitting the move. I actually like that they're keeping the Marcy top, because they always have that follow-up of the Solar Guardian that can come in. So making sure they do distribute as much to maximize.
See here, now looks to go for 33. Look at the setup, he has got the pipe and a decent amount of point charges. He was able to get both of them off, but they have enough damage to fight through it. They take down 33. Tundra, they'll have the chance to get a trade here as the arrow connects in onto Siamese Cat. Tundra, they'll take down one in return, and Ori That's the ball lining out of this one. As Tundra pretty much got the three of them chasing Aster down.
I think that's just perfect though for Aster. I think they're perfectly fine with losing the snap fire. It's, you know, they make the 3 rotations happen bottom, they still get the kill.
Yeah. I wonder if maybe you can get out cleanly if you just snap ult from the get-go instead of cooking in. But either way, you know, the idea of the play, the execution is pretty good. You trade your support for a core and a lot of TP. So again, you force Tundra around the map. Aster definitely happy with that.
XXS he pretty much has raid pack done also, so already feeling like lack of being able to team fight for Tundra. When this comes in, no way they're going to be able to really team fight. They do also have at least a way to kind of kill it. The spiders, right, can come in and clear that raid pack out like Aster has the way to kill it later on with that Marcy.
Yeah, and I think now that, you know, the game has progressed a couple of minutes, you can soon look to potentially then force the Roshan on Aster. It won't take as long. You have the raid pack, you have higher levels, you have the passive on your Shadow Fiend, you have Psychic and Marcy ult, so soon that's going to be one of their next goals around the Roche area, then top tier 2. And in the meantime, your Storm and your Snap, they will always look to play aggressive with the ultimate of XXS to back them up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Still just that 3k lead that they've had for a bit of time here, Aster.
Has 9 been able to get a single power rune? So I don't think, alright. No. Skeeter.
And Tundra, they're heading over here. They're actually running avalanche stab onto Ori. All lining just in time to dodge that arrow, but that's pretty much as close as it gets. Back over to the bottom of the jungle. Siamese cat gets found. Tundra.
Oh, TP's to top.
And getting aggressive here, and indeed Aster. They've got to be prepared for these very quick moves across the map from Tundra. 1-8, backing off. Skeeter, if he's able to close the gap, has got that diffusal blade. So they won't try and chase blindly into that area of the map here, Tundra. They'll be careful, and Aster will be allowed to back away. You're very much seeing it, just sort of a quick move, quick play like that. Suddenly the 3k lead goes down to the 2k.
If they get that kill, it would have been completely shifted down too. They would have had more space on the map too for like 40 seconds where the Storm is not alive.
I mean, it's definitely got to be a bit scary for Aster that this game has sort of fallen into this position, right? They're going to feel the pressure to get something done, and as you keep saying, you know, have that chance to make a move that allows you to really just take advantage of the strengths that the backup of a Dawnbreaker could provide on these sort of plays you're attempting.
So they are smoking up again. They're very likely looking for this one kill into Roche.
Ori, he's going to look to go in. With the grab to 33. Coming over with the Solar Guardian, and the kiss is coming in as well. 33 falling low. Take him out the Starbreaker. Back XXS able to get a 2-man stun off the back of that last swing of the hammer. Skeeter has to put the Shadow Knight to run, but Boka charges in and beats down Snaking. Aster, that's the sort of moves they're looking to make.
Yeah, they're just forcing the fights, forcing Tundra to react to them and be like, okay, good luck. Bring on the fight to us. We know you can't take it. And now into that Roche. They've got that sustain coming in from the sidekick too. Tundra not going to be able to contest this one.
No, there's just going to be free Aegis here for Monet. So again, you know, looking at the follow plays, you likely for them, they want to push out their lanes, but I don't want them to really slow down the game because you have this Aegis and run down the top lane as 5. I would like them, once they get close to their ults again, start pushing top with your Shadow Fiend, but once again, look for the smoke across the map and keep shutting down the map of Tundra. Don't, you know, split the map and go even when you're so much stronger than them. Shut down the map of Tundra.
Yeah, they should just dominate the map. The Storm has DD again. I mean, literally every single, right? Every single power rune, I'm pretty sure, has gone to the side of either Aster or Ori, except for one that I think I got denied from like snaking. So playing excellent across the map, but just want to see them keep applying that pressure. Don't give the space. Don't let Tundra try to breathe back into this game. And I do see that, you know, Ori and Siamese Cat constantly paired together, looking for some type of aggression. The DD inside that bottle. Tundra, though, they do have the blink now. Saksa, he's finished it.
I'm going to try and see if they can take the Aegis out of the hands of Ori. Quick toss combo. That'll do it. Once the Aegis gone, get the tools to try and go for a second attempt at it. Lightning bolt, but no further abilities available at that moment to lock him down. So Ori will manage to escape, but a very quick loss of the Aegis.
That could have actually been another death if the Pounce was saved, actually. Skeeter actually using it after he'd already died.
I mean, Tundra right now, they're making a lot of like very good small plays. Like we saw them earlier, get this 1-2 kills there. Skeeter instantly TP's top and then like cleans the jungle with his Shadow Dance. Even here now, like they're, even though they're behind and they know it's not so easy, they're always aware for like these little plays. And you know, they punish Ori here in the mid lane, quickly take out the Aegis. But now Aster, they're like, okay, you know, they shot all the heroes mid, let's go top, take this tier 2 and try to keep the ball rolling.
Dire's top tower.
Look at XXS. I mean, he knows how careful he has to be really on the map. So important. They're going to be hunting for him constantly, so always kind of sitting back, looking to clear some spiders. And he'll get all of
Tundra making sure to not allow any of themselves to be caught within their own jungle. I mean, you see the amount of ward control that still looking to slam down around this area. Pretty much got 6 sentries up here.
Looks like they are pinging bottom. Soxa, as we mentioned, does have the blink. Usually the target that you want to go for is that Dawnbreaker, but there is a snap at the ready down there behind him.
Both teams are being very good at not giving away too many freebies and protecting themselves very nicely. And if you're asked to, yeah, this is a 5k gold lead, but Tundra always have the option of really clutching you out, right? They have this tiny combo into a potential arrow. Mid.
Quick setup, and that's the combo you're talking about. Anybody that steps out alone in the mid lane very quickly dies. Skeeter will get another dart packed off, pounce in a second. And it's going to be soon enough to break far enough away from the kisses, so he'll be fine.
Okay, Tundra is forcing some mistakes from Aster here so far.
Misax has the blink up. He's seeing if he can close in on this.
Toss back.
Close the gap onto XXS. Gets the toss back. Rory will jump over towards Saxa. And Saxa's got back up. 9 Skeeter and snaking move forward. Saxa does go down, but he may just set up for Tundra to be able to get the kill in return. Skeeter's trying to chase on. 30-50 wrap around for the sideline. Connect the arrow, but still hard for Tundra to move in. They still don't have Shadow Dance back up on Skeeter, so he cannot full commit for the fight. Has to respect still how strong the cores are of Asta. Monet, of course, very ready to fight with the BKB done. Tundra, they'll hold back. They tried to push on and catch something with Saxa. They couldn't quite find the opportunity. Asta this time prepared.
Nice attempt with the toss back, but XXS still far too tanky. I mean, 2300 HP, Dragon Scale as well. And you have to be careful a lot of times versus Dawn. If you don't kill him right away, but Boca comes in, gets that side kill, he's gonna full heal off of 1 Starbreaker.
Yeah, he already heals a lot on his own, right, with his passive. He has the Wraith Pact if Boca can come in. One thing for Asta, they need to be more careful around this middle lane. It's currently one of the more dangerous areas of the map, especially they're constantly pushing the silence of Tundra, so you force Asta to respond, and that's where Tundra really strike. 6k gold lead for Asta. Saxa a little bit away.
Now we get the close onto Siamese Cat.
Yeah, every time someone shows mid, just like you said. Yeah. And they're going to smoke right away off that kill.
They're good to go again. I mean, Skeeter's got the Aghanims done. Shadow Dance is back up. Tundra, they're ready to immediately look for more.
They've got excellent pick off and burst that we've seen multiple times now. It's going to be Boca.
It's a rebound away, and now into the tier 2s. Trickier of a situation for Tundra to commit for. Still might try and do it, though.
The Arcane Rooney's thinking about it.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Tundra, even though they have that 6k deficit, still looking to be the aggressors.
9 currently working on this axe, so again, Skeeter, he got to finish his, so allows him to poke a bit more in the fight, be more free. The same with Skeeter here, with 9 getting his axe. Their burst is going to be even stronger than before, so after they really need to be very careful. We already see Tundra, they're behind in the game, and they're still making a lot of very clutch moves here around the map.
I like the itemization from Siamese Cat. I really like what he's doing here on the Snapfire. He's got mech, queuing up the pipe afterwards, just going for any type of extra healing that they can do to sustain through this burst. They know that Monet, he has the BKB, so he is safe, but has to be able to get it off in those situations.
So they can burst through 33.
Should be able to.
And they're coming over the Solar Guardian back up as well. The 4 of them having no trouble taking out the Spider alone. Now, Freeway moving in on the mid. Maybe able to try and look for some pressure onto the tier 2. There's this 40-second window where they don't have to worry about 33 putting any pressure on himself elsewhere.
The Boca even pops the ult preemptively to be able to push this tower even faster. Drops in just a few seconds. Level 15 was hit on the Shadow Fiend right before this fight. 16, in fact. Power drop in seconds.
I mean, once again, Boca having a pretty good game in this Marcy. He's gonna have a BKB again in maybe 2 to 3 minutes time if he doesn't receive another death. Yeah, this middle area for now. So.
And we definitely have seen these Marcy's versus the Zeus, right? If he gets on top of him, he's gonna be able to solo kill him in a lot of situations. And definitely has a lot of different elements to be able to jump onto him because he's got that long range rebound. He has the Storm who's gonna be jumping and finding him anyway.
Full Reg on 1A as well. Shadow Fiend.
Massive.
Indeed, having rather a different game this time round. Game 2 here compared to game 1 Monet. Much more in his element, and he's been allowed to flourish as the SF this game.
He's been able to sit back and farm because of all the space he's gotten from his team. Tundra. For a move.
Skeeter leading the way. The Thunder Gods Raft to scout things out, immediately trying to get as far away from this potential movement as possible, Asta.
There was a random static remnant that actually hit the Slark, so they know where they are.
Still get the jump in onto Siamese Cat. Mori Zipping back over towards him. He's thinking about trying to take something in return. He's going to jump over towards Saxa. See if they can burst through this, but Boca commits it as well with the upper. Skinner just turns with the pounce, but Boca's going to get taken down. Asta, they'll use the buyback on Siamese Cat. They want to try and take this fight, but it doesn't look easy to do. As Tundra still incredibly strong. Can Asta really try and turn a fight back? It is. They're going to try. They go over the zip for there. Blow down the Skinner. An immediate grab there from Ori as they take him pretty much down 100 to 0. He is out of barrel though, and the arrow connects in return. He'll lose his life for that one, Ori.
Tundra, they're looking to go back in. The BKB's popped from XXS.
Saxon's going to have another jump probably in a second. They get the Nimbus drop down onto XXS. Jump over to Saxon. Not quite able to find the toss back though. Still has Avalanche at the ready. It's an out onto Siamese Cat. Tundra, they're still trying to push on and get some sort of connection onto the rest of Asta. They know that no Ori up and available for 30 seconds.
They do have a lot of ways to just disengage and reset, as we see there from Tundra. Four-step on the Tiny, leaps, of course, from the Mirana, the jumps from the Zeus, the Brood being able to just skitter through the tree line. So definitely a bit difficult for Aster. And we did see also the Wraith Pact was dropped and actually hidden kind of in the tree line there from 33. So a little bit of that damage that maybe Aster thought they had initially was not quite there.
Yeah, with this like pipe and Wraith Pact, right, we talk about this all tournament with the damage mitigation. Tundra are definitely, they're playing in a way where they're forcing Aster to make some mistakes. This is not how Aster wants to take fights here. They clutch it out though with Skeeter, right? They do get to fully end up killing him, but for the coming fights, it's what Aster wants is to have this clear initiation with Storm and then drop all the spells like that. You don't want Tundra to run into you and it's like, oh, do I use my Dawn ult here? Do I need to BKB? You know, like this uncertainty. You want to make it very clear, and as for Tundra, they want to do this exact same thing again and make it uncertain for Aster of how to fight.
They were even perhaps looking for Monet there for a second. They saw him on the high ground with that ward sentry.
Just under a minute now until Roshan's back up, and both teams know it. They want to fight around this area. Jump over to Sanctuary, able to get the toss back onto Siamese Cat. They burst through the snap fire. Ori jumps over the high ground, but he's pretty low on the mana. Will opt to keep his distance for now, and XXS sort of left on the front. He's going to go for the TP out with the remainder of his BKB. The rest of Aster, though, they're getting chased out by 33. Skeeter goes to the gap, pounces in onto the Boca Tundra. They'll be able to take a second kill.
They're playing the fight so well. These tossbacks, these ways to reposition, and then, as you said, they all have a different way to disengage. And then the Wraith Pact gets put down. Aster tries to come into it, and they're like, oh my god, wait a minute, we have no mana left on Storm. We have to full TP out and disengage. Tundra, somehow, even though they're at, what, a 6k deficit, have now brought it down to 2. They're making it happen.
They're using their heroes so well. It's really beautiful to watch. You have Slark in the front, giving all this night vision. You have Saxa, he goes in, gets the toss back, Avalanche, four-stabs himself back out. And now, if you're Monet on this SF, you don't want to run into a fight for 5 seconds.
Grab with the Skinner, but Skinner was able to get the Dark Pact off in time. Into the Shadow Dance pounce as well. He breaks away from the combo. They try to catch him off guard with.
That's 2 massive ults on cooldown. I think that's maybe even the first Requiem that I saw of the game when he's level 18 and the Solar Guardian. So Tundra,
Skinner's back up into this area. They're going to try and make a play here. They get the toss back on towards the storm. He dropped down underneath the pounce. Lori's out.
I mean, Tundra just have completely claimed the lead of this game.
And second Roche is up. It's going to be the next objective in the game. They do have some stacks on Skeeter.
Monet stepping over there for more. Saxon Skinner, they're ready waiting. Monet has to put the BKB and run.
But now it's a BKB also to disengage. I mean, Tundra is just forcing so much out of Aster. Roche does respawn, and I think some fighters will probably go scout that out in a second there for Tundra.
I mean, this has got to be scary for Aster, right? They've got to be feeling right now how they're sort of losing control of the game. That the lead they had early on, it was definitely something they would have felt that was under their control. And now at this point, the last few moves, Tundra outplaying them. I mean, Aster, how do they sort of turn this one back around? They're losing control of the game. Tundra's going to be able to get this Roshan and Aegis, and Aster just not in any sort of position at all to contest this.
Yeah, they just cannot stop this Roche. They need, if you have the top network SF, you need to set them up for success. I feel like currently you are not doing that. Tundra, they're styling on you. They get a clutch kill, they disengage, and they keep following you. Like, look at all the spells, double pounce, double four-step. Your first initiation needs to come out from your side on Aster.
Ori who has to do it almost every single time though, right? So for Ori, it's complicated. I think Boca might have to just start sacrificing himself a little bit more to allow the Shadow Fiend to get this window to walk in, so Ori can actually follow up, because Ori, no BKB.
Same area that he's ready to just charge straight into to start a fight against Aster. We'll see Ori zip over towards the Mirana, able to pull back Snaking, take him down. BKB pop from the Boca, he commits to bring down the Nimbus. Can they really keep this fight going, Aster? The pounce the side. Skeeter, keep his distance for now. Still, of course, has that Aegis, so even if they do catch him, they'll have to do it twice. Shadow Dance on cooldown, still has the Depth Shroud. Good pounce across the cliff. Get him far enough away to TP out in the midst of the trees. They won't catch him.
They're not getting anything big, Aster. And they keep having to react to everything that Tundra's doing. They did buy a gem a few moments ago to at least try to see anything that's coming from Tundra, but as we mentioned earlier, once you start getting this lead on Tundra, it's small, less than 1k, but it feels like it's a lot more because now full ward coverage, it's gone. Aster, they don't see almost anything on the map.
I really like the itemization as well on Tundra, especially the one that's coming out next. So currently, I think Aster are, realizing that, okay, we need to set up our Shadow Fiend for success. They're building double Halberd, because later on, who's going to deal damage on Aster out, through BKBs? Well, it's only SF. All in. Ori.
Saxa, he's got the set up the pounce there. Ori. Picked off here by Skeeter and Saxa. He's got to be careful here. Any sort of setup from the Blink Tiny. All that Skeeter has to do is get that angle, and with the Agnum's pounce, he'll always have that follow-up lockdown.
Honestly, Saxa, as soon as Saxa really got the Blink Dagger, it feels like the whole game has turned around. He's been able to make all these plays, catching every single time onto the Storm Spirit.
He has been playing phenomenal. And then next, right, he gets the Force F to always disengage. They have the map pressure with the Brood, Slark with the Vision, Zeus with the D-Ward, and then global bonus damage from Zeus. They're setting each other up so well for success in this game.
And he even now has a secondary force step. Of course, he got the Ogre Seal Totem, so another way to kind of disengage and continue these types of
same
plays
spot.
that they've been doing.
I feel that Tundra's been able to find successful pickoffs time after time. It's just out of range of the true side that they had down.
Oops. Tried to go for the courier there.
Top lane same time. Pressure from the Spiders coming in. Tier 2 getting very low. Ori will be able to clean out the push in time.
Skeeter almost has his BKB done, which is going to make his life... he can just full commit onto the Shadow Fiend then pretty much every single one of these.
Yeah, I don't see how the Skeeter dies anymore. Yes, he would have to make a really big mistake, which, at this point he's not going to. Also, he has Pipe, Grave Pact, Halberds, backing him up, so there is even room for, for him to be a little more greedy. But same story for Aster. Game definitely falling a little bit out of their hands, and they need to claim one of these next fights with a good start.
How is Monet going to be able to focus fire anything versus the Halberds? They're really just going to put so much attention onto them. And yeah, the second one is soon finished up. Aster have to start finding something.
Success. He's going to be the one to start things off. It's up into the high ground, but immediately gets burst down to less than half his HP. Gets the BKB off, will be able to retreat. Skeeter commits it with a Shadow Dance, turns over towards Baboka, who tries to chase down Saxa under his BKB with the ultimate, but Baboka just taking too much physical damage through it. He'll attempt to get away, but the pounce is back up and ready as the BKB comes to an end. And Aster not able to start off that fight in what already felt like a bit of an awkward position, but that's very much a telltale of sort of the state that Aster feel they're in. They're trying to make these risky moves, trying to head into these spots of the map that we've seen for a long time now. That area has just not been safe at all for them.
They need to, Ori, you can see he's so hesitant to jump now. No BKB ready, soon gonna have it, but can't jump in. He knows he's just gonna get comboed and burst down, so Baboka jumps in. This is what we were saying that he kind of has to do. He has to be this sacrifice to maybe allow Ori to look for something to jump, but Ori, he didn't see an option to go for.
Yeah, I think at this point with you being so, you need to wait for it. I don't want to ask you to make any more aggressive moves until you have this BKB up on Ori, because it's just too hard. You can see it there. Sure, you're like, oh, I'll jump in for you, but even then, it's not nicely set up with the smoke, so it just fails instantly.
And look for the setup from the low ground. Saxa trying to get the opening on towards Monet. Skeeter. He's in and he's out. Just thinking about that. Maybe going in again. Still has that Aegis for 20 seconds. Not too long, mind you. Quick check there as well from Tundra, just to make sure that Aster weren't attempting to sneak out of the base, catch them from the side. We'll see if this maybe gives Aster a bit of an opportunity to make a move now. Aegis expired, BKB on Ori, they'll look to make the move.
Let's see if he can find anything. Let's see if they get those BKBs up pre-Halberds too, to make sure that they have that damage if they do grab a target.
Back in this area, it's been a bit of a death trap time and time again for Aster. Let's see if it's any different this time around. They get in with the opening over towards 33, but 33 pushed down to the side. The fear's there though, pushing back the Spider. They take him down. Now they'll turn over towards Skeeter. Shadow Dance to the ready, commits in over the wall. Siamese Cat falls. Still though, Skeeter's going to surround it. They're done indeed. Ori's in trouble. They'll attempt to force him out the side, but Skeeter's able to finish him off. Double kill for the Slav. As Tundra back off for now, but Skeeter's still very, very strong. Pounce over towards XXS. He
Aster just ping-ponging back and forth inside the fight. Also, I mean, this arrow, it goes in. I think it like weaves. You see all these like spiders coming in. I think he didn't even see the arrow because of all the spiders, and it just hits perfectly onto Ori.
I mean, Tundra, they're playing, it's just beautiful to watch. Like, when you see high-level Dota, which this is, you know, helping each other out with the 4 staffs, you go in as much as you can, 3-3 with the buyback, clutch spell usage, ultra kill for Skeeter, 40 stacks on the Essence ship, backed up by all these auras. Now, it's just so hard for Aster. Like, if you're Monet, you kind of got to feel for him. This guy's top net worth 201, but he just can't do anything. Tundra just styling on him.
He can't hit anybody. He starts hitting one person gets forced out, someone else, like another guy, Ogre Seal totems away from him. Zeus jumps away, can't stick on targets. And Ori,
Oh my, he doesn't even get the 9 right now, someone.
My God, what a lightning bolt.
What the hell? Oh, that's one way to die.
I mean, he used the BKB right at the end, too, so even when he respawns, 30 seconds, no BKB, another Rex, potentially in jeopardy. Tundra playing out of their minds.
Is there anything Aster can do here with just the 4 of them to stop a second set of barracks falling?
I guess Monet can go up and hit this Lark a bit. Hope he doesn't get pushed back.
Poker's going to jump in. Some of the BKB. Pops the ult as well. Look at the ball Skeeter. But Skeeter's just out of turn. And if it crashes, he can just stand his ground against Moboka. Jumps in over towards XXS. Will manage to get back towards the fountain. Aster, it won't lose anyone. Off the back of that Monet. Be careful here. He finds himself back underneath the Nimbus. Will manage to force back safety with the Hurricane Pike. He'll live. But the barracks do go down. Tundra able to clean up a second set.
And the worst feeling ever, he gets poked and prodded enough for him to have to force that BKB again. And Tundra, they're just going to keep applying the pressure. Sure, they're a little limited on mana, but they can easily go for this tier 2. As, yeah, the avalanche toss combo hits 3. You can see like everybody's down to like sub 50% HP. Can't actually chase forward on Aster.
And now for Tundra, take 2 racks, take the top tier 2, keep the triangle occupied, and now if they have a freebie, you know, they'll take it. Otherwise, second Roche up within the next 2 minutes, so you can just play the map, play as you have, and overall, the way that Tundra play, I feel like their strength, team fighting, spell usage, the itemization, it's just incredible and beautiful to watch.
Yeah, I mean, it's really been for, what, 16 minutes now. Even when they were at a 6k gold deficit, they were still winning every single one of these engagements. Look at this. Unbelievable. Finding themselves some pretty amazing neutral items as well. We see the telescope picked up. So they're going to be able to keep that distance, of course, even more on that Zeus. And now he does hit level 20, so even more stun's going to be coming out from those lightning bolts, making it even harder for Ori. As if it hasn't already been hard enough.
Spell Prism as well, also a nice one for the squad.
They're getting blessed.
And Blink Dagger done on 9, so not always going to be a guaranteed opportunity for Ori to go straight for him. Quick on the blink, you can make sure that at first attempt will end up missing.
And now look at the itemization also from 33, right? After he's got his halberd, all those other items, has an Aeon disc now. He knows he's the attention that they're going for every single time. If they try to focus onto him this time, he'll just unlock it, kind of break all that initiation that'll come out from Aster. And Aster fully trapped in their base.
Aster have a 3% chance of winning, and I feel like these 3%, the only way they can make this happen, you have Ori Pharma buyback, you have XXS Pharma buyback, you smoke into the Roche, they both suicide evade spells, and they come back.
Stepping outside of the base, this is...
DD Slark.
Tundra also have the luxury of considering Roshan will be up very, very shortly.
Yep, they've got the spiders scouting in there the whole time. And then just keeping Aster constricted in the base. An MKB, I mean, like we said, Monet, he still continues to be very farm. He just cannot stick on targets.
I just think it's too hard for him. Like, if I had to give the specialty of Tundra, I feel like they're the best team at not hard committing into a fight. It's constant soft commit, helping each other out, baiting a BKB here, baiting an ult there, force step out, then go back in. They're so good at playing these long fights. And I think Aster, it might be hard to contest this Roche, but I don't see how you get back into this game if you don't.
Full Scotty now for the Slark.
Look at this lane work.
Focus is gone.
And maybe more stacks up. He's ever getting the connection onto the Monet gets the BKB off. He's trying to run, but Skinner's chasing him down. Monet's out of the game. So is XXF. Neither with buyback. The 2 supports done as well. They've got buybacks themselves. There's a dive over the bucket. GG is called. Tundra will take game 2 with that. The series, it's theirs 2-0. They'll be moving up to the upper bracket
They didn't seem to be phased by it whatsoever. Win every single engagement afterwards when they get the tiny blink dagger. Yeah, Tundra, they're really on another level of stuff, and they're really displaying the understanding of really how to... I mean, we've seen it now a couple times, of course, on main stage, but how to really brutalize Shadow Fiend. Monet almost had a free game for the whole time and wasn't able to do much of anything with it.
Yeah, I just Tundra there showing me some of the most beautiful Dota I've seen in a long time. From the team fighting to everything, they're down 6k gold. They can still make plays. You know, they don't seem phased by the situation of the game. Their itemization, like understanding how to play long team fights, who to itemize for, who to itemize against, who to play around, and to not lose your cool. This team is quite something.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like we see other teams when they sort of get the lead that we've seen Tundra have in both of these games in that second half, and then there's sometimes a mistake here and there. In this series, once they're ahead, no mistakes were made. Tundra always knew what the next step was. They could see sort of the direct route towards victory, and they never faltered from it. And as I say, they will be moving on. Very excited to see what they're able to pull off at the next stage of the upper bracket. And of course, for Aster, they'll get another chance down in the lower. But today, this series, definitely one that Aster's going to have to pick themselves up from and consider how they want to change things going forward. Because this game 2, even more harsh of a match, really, in comparison to what happened in game 1. Tundra, they'll take down Aster 2-0 today.
Tundra locking in their upper bracket finals where they go against Secret. And we talked a little bit about Secret earlier and just how they looked great. But, from those matches, some of the best team fighting and support, in these skirmishes and the big fights was really, I think today, Tundra. They were amazing.
It really was. The way they skirmish, and also the fact that they steal away that Slark, they take it towards themselves, and Skitter just shows full masterclass on the hero. One of those that he actually got into the scene with.
Yeah, I think if you look at Ast for real quickly, they started this game with beautiful aggression. They were being able to punish some of the earlier laning phase mistakes that Tundra made, but it's the fact that Tundra, they kind of identify how do we need to get back to this game. It's like through patience, you wait it out. You even had Tiny Mirana double farming up these stats together, and I realized that Tundra, they're playing this position 5 Mirana, but every time they draft it, they've got some Tiny, some Tusk, some simple way to set up an arrow that we're seeing the effectiveness of this Mirana throughout the entire game. It's not some Mirana that's falling off, just a Moonlight Shadow. We're always seeing these clutch arrows, and then Saxa on his Tiny. Even after the laning phase, he's coming in clutch late game, buying Blink, Force, Halberd, just making these unreal 2-3-man avalanches as you see here, setting up the re-engagement for Tundra in the long drawn-out fights.
Yeah, and it was really problematic for Ori, right? Because Lizard, you mentioned Ori, you wanted to see him on something more flashy.
And I got it. Yeah, that was my next point. People, you can take it.
I just want to build off T's really quick. I think this Tiny was so cool because they recognized how hard it was for them to take fights. Like this Slark, you saw his one moment bot in that jungle where he just got blown up without using ult. That is such a possibility. They have so much magic nuke and burst on Aster that you can die so quick. So Tundra played such a really amazing poke game with the Tiny and trying to toss back. Like they knew if they could toss anyone back on Aster and start the fight that way, that was their win condition, and they did that amazingly.
Yeah, and Ori, as you see there, 258, and I got to give a lot of credit to 9 on his Zeus. Some of his timings, with the initial stun, just, it's very quick. And, Ori did get into that BKB a little bit later, but, with 9 just on point, he was just a little bit late on popping it. And, he must be, not kicking himself because he's got the lower bracket, but certainly, not the performance that they wanted here in the upper bracket semis.
I got what I wanted. I got the spirit on Ori. I got to see that playmaking capability that he is.
It started off looking good.
That he's known for, because it started off good because they switched up the whole lineup. It wasn't these razors, these slow heroes that kind of just snowball into the lane. No, it was Dawnbreaker on the offlane, Storm Spirit. I can't imagine a better duo versus a Broodmother. Zip in, use Dawnbreaker's ulti to get on top of her, right? Blow her up multiple times. Even the Zeus is very susceptible to falling to those two heroes. It didn't matter in the end.
Yeah, 9 struggled. He got caught, I think, once in his own triangle. 33 on the Brood got caught. But 33, his itemization was fantastic. And we talked a little bit about kind of the itemization on Doom last time. But this time it was really just, team fight, the Wraith Pact, and then just, on top of that as well.
If I had to give, one criticism to Aster, it was in game 1 and also this game 2. It felt like Tundra were just holding areas and they would just walk into them. They fed a lot into that bot jungle because Tundra held that for a very long time. And yeah, it just felt like Asta really weren't sure how to start their fights and initiations.
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult for Asta because their entire draft is built around multiple heroes doing single initiation jumps. And then you have Tundra having the leap of Mirana, Slarks, disengage, Zeus with the jump, Brood with the high ground, low ground jumps. Like, Tundra basically drafted a way in which, like, sure, pick your quick heroes that can get into us, but we're going to always find a way to just take 2-3 fights inside one bigger engagement.
Yeah, and as the commentators mentioned as well, Monet, you know, on the SF really didn't get to kind of shine just because of how good I think the team fights were from Tundra. And speaking of Tundra, as we have been, they're going to have a well-deserved winner's interview with Casey.
Skeeter came right off the stage and he said, I was told to follow you, so thank you for coming and chatting with us. I asked you how long you've been waiting to get to TI, and you said how many years?
8 years. I started playing Dota in 2012 after TI2, so yeah, it's been 8 years.
And how does the experience live up to the dream?
I mean, it's pretty cool. I'm very calm. I don't know. I mean, I just realized I said 8 years. That's wrong. 2012. It's 2022, right?
Yes, it's been 10 years.
10 years, yeah.
Oh my God.
10 years, yeah.
You've aged. You're like an elderly man.
Yeah. It's true. I'm 24 now. Starting when I was 14.
Okay. So you stay in the upper bracket. You now have an entire week off before you have to face Secret. You have such great momentum going. How are you guys going to keep that going through a week of no matches?
I'm not entirely sure because this is the first time experiencing such a big break during the tournament, so I honestly don't know. We'll talk about it and we'll figure something out.
And what was your favorite part of the tournament so far in any game?
Just honestly just playing on the main stage because we haven't won a single like on-stage game in DPC.
Yeah.
We burned out on Stockholm immediately when we got on the stage, and that was like our focus on improving coming here, and it seems to be working out. We improved a lot in that aspect, and I'm very happy for myself and for my teammates.
Congratulations. It's been so fun to watch. We'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
All right, back to you guys.
Thank you, Casey, and congratulations, Skitter. Very, very calm for a 24-year-old, or maybe, I don't know, in disbelief, because it took 10 years to get to this TI.
I mean, he's been just grinding the EU scene for so long. He's been playing in these like tier 2, tier 3 teams, and then like he slowly kind of built up that kind of pedigree, and now of course playing with the Tundra guys and the team before that. Like, yeah, it's been a long time coming, but well deserved for sure.
Well deserved because he's been grinding for 10 years without giving up. 10, 2020,
40 years, yeah.
These last couple of years have all blended into one anyway.
Yeah, and we can take a little recap of what happened in today's bracket. So in the lower bracket, we had OG beating out Game and Gladiators 2-1, moving forward, and they'll be playing tomorrow. Entity lost out to Team Liquid. Liquid move into the next round of the lower bracket, winning their match 2-1. And then in the upper bracket, it wasn't about the 2-1s, it was about the 2-0s. There was two teams that really wanted to move forward, and they did so in convincing fashion. It was Team Secret beating out Thunder Awaken, and now Tundra taking out Asta. So we are going to have, when we look into tomorrow's schedule, something a little bit interesting there. But I hopefully do believe that we might be checking back into Singapore. We always love to, so we'll have to see if they're ready. But I think we might have Casey and Slacks.
Yes, you do. Hello, hello, hello out there, world. It is the end of a very long day of Dota. Casey, what an exciting day that today was.
It was so exciting. I'm doing my full Muppet, which is the yay!
Yeah, she does that all the time.
Shut up. I
never stops.
Come on now.
But anyway, yeah, an incredible day. A lot of fun moments. In fact, we caught up with everyone left in the arena. Everyone's going home, but these guys, from beginning to end on these ones, favorite moment? What was the favorite moment here today?
With you, Sir Slacks. Okay. Over here.
Very uneventful day for you guys. Apologies about that one.
Did you plant them?
No, I wish I did. That would have been a lot less embarrassing.
Do you have a non-Slacks related favorite part of the tournament so far?
I enjoyed a lot, and then for everyone who's watching, be ready. Enjoy and have fun.
I love it. That's a very good attitude.
That was very cute. How about you? Favorite moment of the day?
OG! 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 OG!
Okay, wait. But what about OG?
I
I'm expecting that they will be. I'm expecting that they will win this TI. So.
Yeah, my sarcasm did not go over very well.
Okay, don't worry about it.
Sorry. Is there anybody else besides OG that we're Tundra?
Obviously Tundra.
Obviously.
What a game too, no? What a comeback.
Wait, I recognize you.
Yeah, from...
Were you wearing something different earlier?
Never.
I knew it! I knew it!
Always there.
Oh,
Always
wow!
There. Tundra gonna win the TI. Tundra's gonna win the TI, for sure.
For sure.
For safe. Safe. It's safe, guys.
All right. Yeah. Oh, see? You're going full Muppet. Can everybody else go full Muppet? Come on. Do one of this. Come on. There we go.
Take it back, James.
And that's how we made Slacks look like the normal person in the group.
James, take it back. Thank you so much. Yes, Singapore's great. We're having a good time. Can't wait for tomorrow. Take it back.
Okay, so let's look at tomorrow's day 4 as we're closing out day 3 here at the International. We got 4 games coming up. So we're going to have Beast Coast versus LGD, and then we'll be moving on to OG versus Team Liquid, and then Asta versus the winner of, let me just check. No, I'm doing the thing. Beast Coast versus LGD will play Thunder Esports. OG versus Liquid, and they will play. The winner of that will play Thunder Awaken. Nailed it.
Good job, mate. Yeah,
thank you very much.
Mildly
It's been a long day, but I'm ready for day 4.
Yeah.
What was your favourite part of day 3?
I would go with probably Secret's dominance in against Thunder Awaken. I think it's upsetting to see Thunder Awaken get 2-0'd, but it's nice to see this Secret that didn't really do much at DBC, the last chance qualifier team, then getting this far. So it's very impressive stuff.
My favorite part was the time I spent with you guys, my dear panelists and good friends. Thank you so much for sharing this with me.
You didn't have a favorite part,
I did not.
It was my answer.
The games were all pretty good.
The game sheet. One of the first times that sarcasm was caught here at TI. Yeah, but interesting. Yes, but make sure. Listen, we'll get to you in a moment. Make sure you do stay around though, because we do have a late game coming up with Pyrian Flax. I got to catch it yesterday, and it was awesome. I do believe they're actually setting up. It's really, really nice. I'm very envious because in Pyrian's contract, no matter where he is and where he sits, he has to have alcohol in front of him. I don't know who his agent is, but I want it. I want it, Pyrian. And I think he actually might be able to hear us, but he is just getting set up. And then, Lizard, what was your favourite moment of today?
It's coming up. It's the late night show, actually, with Pyrian.
I have a favorite Dark Mango. That was my favorite part today.
Perfect.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, but we're down to, I do believe, our final 8 teams now. In the lower bracket, we've got 2 teams from SEA, from China, and 2 teams from Europe. So it still could be, anyone's game when it comes to region, apart from, obviously SEA. And yes, I've got this wrong, have I?
Very wrong.
Yeah. Okay.
SEA is the region that is not in
Sorry,
the tournament.
SA.
Yeah.
Who put an E in there? You've been messing with my notes.
Sorry. It was actually a test, and you did fail. That's fine. We apologise, SEA, for James slandering your region there. It's SA.
He gave them hope. He gave them hope.
Fake. That's the worst hope. False hope's the wrong hope.
It is the worst time to hope.
If you buy enough battle passes, SEA can get reintroduced into the tournament. That's an exclusive from James.
And we can teach James how to read.
That's too many battle passes.
This has been the International Day 3. Please join us tomorrow as we got more great matches, and it will be the final day of the main stage before we go into the championship weekend. Hopefully we'll see you then. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and enjoy the late game.